It's match day for Ipswich Town in the Championship. Derby County at Portman Road. Let's join our commentary team on BBC Radio Suffolk. Former Town captain Mick Mills is alongside Brenna Woolley.
So the final game of the opening month rolls around with Town still searching for that elusive first victory, and this is a fixture that's undoubtedly winnable. Unlike their first three, it's not against a recently promoted side or a team that's spent 12 of the last 13 seasons in the Premier League, or a typical Championship battle on the road that we had last week. It's a home game against a side that finished 19th last season and has taken 1 point so far this time around. Whilst it would be utterly crazy to describe it as a must-win, that's madness with another 42 games to go afterwards. It would give everyone a major shot in the arm if they can do it. No one wants to spend the international break stewing over another setback. Mick, a win is needed sooner rather than later, isn't it? However it comes.
Yes, I think, it's... I've just watched the presentation of two of our new signings, and it just makes me think that we get things so wrong in football. Why, have we got, we've had 3 games, and, you almost wish we hadn't had 3 games. Why didn't they have the start of the season now, and then everybody starts in the same way from the starting lineup? But we've had 3 games, we haven't done very well, the results have been poor, the performances haven't been very good. We need to win this one, and it is set up so nicely for us now. We could have we've made all the signings, we've got an international fortnight coming up. If we can get a win today, everybody can all of a sudden just take a massive sigh of relief and say to themselves, yes, the season is underway. It has been just absolutely chaotic as far as I'm concerned.
2 teams out in front of us. Fantastic atmosphere here at Portman Road, as Mick was just hinting at. The unveiling of Marcelino Nunez took the atmosphere up a few notches. He came out of the tunnel off to our right-hand side with a blue and white scarf around his neck, waving a number 32 blue shirt in the air. And then Sindrawala Egeli followed him out of the tunnel. A 19-year-old winger brought in yesterday for a championship record fee also walked to the centre spot after him. So we're ready to go now in terms of the main event. 3 o'clock kick-off live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Town's 4th match of the season, just 2 points so far from the previous 3, and of course coming off the back of their first league defeat of the season at Preston a week ago. 4 changes to that side this afternoon. Johnson, Clark, Smodics and Taylor are all out, all of them on the bench. In comes Ashley Young at right back for his full league debut. In front of him down the right-hand side, McAteer makes his full league debut and first appearance at Portman Road. Kayuste is in the midfield and Chaplin will play in behind Hurst. So Palmer in goal. The back 4 is Young, O'Shea the captain, Greaves and Davis. Then there's Matthew Siwa alongside Kayuste. The 3 of McAteer, Chaplin and Philogene, and Hurst up top. On the bench, Walton, Darnell Furlong, signed from West Brom in the last couple of days. Ivan Azon, Spanish 22-year-old striker on loan from Como, both hopefully making their debuts at some stage. Taylor, Smodics, Akpom, Clark, Kipre and Johnson. No Luke Wolfenden or Chio Ogbeni. I wonder whether they might depart on either permanent or loan deals before Monday's 7 o'clock deadline. 5 changes made from the Derby side that drew 1-1 with Bristol City a week yesterday. In come Forsyth, Johnston, Travis, Clark and Brewster. 3 former Town players in this lineup: Matt Clark, Lewis Travis, Callum Elder. Their goalkeeper is Zeta Strom. They play a back 3 of Sanderson, Clark and Forsyth. The wide players, Johnston on his debut, Elder down the left. In between them, Lewis Travis, who was a part of the Ipswich Town team. They got promotion to from the Championship a couple of years ago. He plays alongside Ebu Adams, the captain. Then we understand that Clark will play in behind Morris and Brewster. Morris has 3 and 3 so far this season. The former Norwich City youngster and FA Youth Cup winner with them, in fact, came from Luton in the summer against Brewster, once of Liverpool, released by Sheffield United this summer. On the bench, Vickers, Bart, Vyman, Salverson, Thompson, Ozo, Caden Jackson, another former Town player in this 20-man squad, Ward and Nyambe. Ipswich Town in blue, white, blue. Off to our left-hand side, going into their pre-match huddle against the traditional white shirts, black shorts, white socks of Derby County. That draw with Bristol City last Friday night was the only point that Derby have got so far after losing their first two. They conceded 5 goals in losing to Coventry. They did have a tough start, lost to Stoke on the opening day, then thumped 5-3 by Coventry a week later, and this will hopefully be no more easy for them here this afternoon. The referee is Lee Doughty with the 6-0 here against Sheffield Wednesday, just before Ipswich Town were promoted 18 months or so ago. Headed away from the back by O'Shea. Chaplin wafts at that one, can't control it. The ball is sent back by Adams all the way to the Swedish international colleague of Jens Kajuste, Zetterstrom, and all orange clouts the ball downfield for Derby. In behind Ashley Young covers Dara O'Shea. He volleys it to the halfway line, headed forward by the very experienced Forsyth, now 36 years of age. Craig Forsyth approaching 500 career appearances, 13 years since he made his Derby debut. Back in the team this afternoon, adding a lot of experience for John Eustace, who's just settled down in his blue seat down below. So too Kieran McKenna. It's an early free kick for Derby on the halfway line, which the Australian Callum Elder will take, a lone player here back in the days of Mick McCarthy. Chance maybe for Derby to test Ipswich Town early on. Town have got their defensive line about 32 yards from Palmer's goal off to our left. Here comes Elder with this early free kick for Derby, up to the edge of the Ipswich Town area, headed into the box by Clark, nodded away by Young in a central position. Chaplin slips. Derby have the ball inside the Ipswich area, blocked by Young, has it again, almost loses it. He's given it away, Ashley Young. Effort towards goal by Brewster. Derby get it back on the halfway line with Lewis Travis, just brought in from Blackburn. He drills an overly ambitious ball, terrible header by Davis, given away by Ipswich Town. Town can't get a hold of it at the moment. Here are Derby trying to get into the Ipswich area. Greaves has scythed down his man. It's an early free kick for Derby, and Town have started this game rather edgy and nervy.
Well, Derby have just played, they've started the game going route one every time. It's a real sort of pressure type of football. And every time we've almost won the ball in one possession, we've just tried to play football immediately, and we haven't been in the position to do it. We've done it about 3 times. We've given it back to Derby 3 times, and this is the sort of final one of the 3 where Derby were given the ball and they've won a free kick, and it's in a very dangerous position.
It is. It was for the foul by Greaves on Clark. It's a free kick maybe 3 yards outside the Ipswich Town area. There's a fair old break and play there. Numerous blue shirts complained towards the referee. Dragged Dara O'Shea and Abu Adams, the 2 captains, to one side to explain his thinking. Did Mr. Doughty. He just painted his white line inside the Ipswich Town area, and the 4-man wall has just had to walk behind it. Leif Davis is lying down behind them, preventing the low effort from Derby, if that's the way they want to go. Derby have Morris, Brewster and one other having a conversation. Morris walks away from it. It's a free kick to Derby after just 3 minutes of this championship match. I think Forsyth, it would make sense. No, we've got Brewster and Elder over this free kick for Derby in the 4th minute at Portman Road. It's going to be one of those 2, number 10 or the number 20. It looks like it'll be Brewster who hits it against the knees of the Ipswich Town wall, and the ball's out far side for a Derby throw.
Yeah, just harmless. A lot of sort of organisation went in there, both from Derby and Ipswich. Ipswich had that player that lays down behind the wall just in case the wall wants to jump, and he goes underneath it. In the end, it was an awful free kick, and it was all pretty much a waste of time.
Dion Sanderson on loan from Birmingham with a throw in far side for Derby, headed away comfortably by Davis. Ball still spending an awful lot of time in the air. It's eventually brought down by Derby, put him behind for Morris to chase, but he's given up on it because it was always going to get to Palmer first. 4 minutes gone live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Here is Azor Matusiwa, had his best game for Town last week at Preston. With those orange boots, he tiptoes away from Morris, buys himself some space, gives it forward to Kajuste. Kajuste turns into the challenge of Travis. Chaplin then tries to help it on to the right-hand side. Nothing given. Hurst wins it back for Ipswich, just called up by Scotland in the last couple of days. George Hurst. Here is Matusiwa to Young. Typical frenetic championship battle at the moment. Hurst with a header in field, just away from McAteer, cleared away by Derby. Given away by Derby to Kiyuste. Little in the way of quality so far in this game. Ipswich have it with Kiyuste inside Derby's half of the field. Greaves to the left in front of the Derby fans. Davis has it. Now Philogene far side. In comes his cross. Headed away by the long-haired Sanderson. Kiyuste is going to try and get there ahead of Brewster. Philogene helps him out. Brewster still battling for the ball. Ipswich Town outnumbering Derby County players. There's a foul on an Ipswich player. I think that Lewis Travis was the aggressor. Kiyuste went down, free kick.
Well, the Derby manager, he looks as if all he wants from his players is to play at 100 mile an hour with and without the ball. That's okay, but you could be guilty of making a lot of rash decisions if you do that.
On 1-0 here, the last time these two sides met. Wes Burns with the only goal on that particular occasion. He's one of a number of players sitting behind the dugout down below us, with Harry Clark and Luke Wolfenden as well. Free kick far side for Ipswich Town. 5.5 minutes gone. Leif Davis is on it. We're still 0-0. Rather a grey afternoon in Suffolk. Ipswich Town attacking the goal off to our left, and it comes from the Geordie, headed away again by Sanderson. McAteer gives chase. He came on at Deepdale last week, and a really good opportunity actually to score an equaliser. The former Leicester man. He shoves Elder to the floor. That's a free kick on this occasion to Derby County, which Forsyth is about to take. In the end, no, he's going to leave it up to Zetterstrom. They have played together in the past, Matusiwa and Kiyuste, the French club Rams a few seasons ago as a pair. So it's not a completely new partnership, albeit it is in the blue of Ipswich Town this afternoon. More strength and depth now in that area of the field, with Nunez coming in for Town. Greaves wins a header off the edge of the box, clearly having his collar tugged out by Morris. Forsyth in field for Derby. Travis gets away from Hurst to the edge there, and Morris, good play from Derby. Early ball in across the face of goal was a good one from Elder. Picked up on the far side by Johnston, the Scotland international debutant. Left-footed delivery from him into the area. Headed away by Ashley Young. Nodded down by Travis. Young should get there ahead of Elder. He manages to. Elder wins it back. A couple of players go down. Elder and McAteer collided. Play continues. Elder's back up on his feet. 0-0. Derby on halfway with Dion Sanderson. Infield to Matt Clark. Suffolk boy through and through. Matt Clark, 5 appearances for Ipswich before he disappeared off. He's in his second spell at Derby, having left Middlesbrough last January.
It's incredibly fast and furious, this game. I've never seen a game quite start as quickly as this one is.
Good ball in field from Chaplin. Finds Leif Davis. Davis gets up to the halfway line. Yeah, you do wonder what the likes of Ivan Azom and Sindra Wala Egeli are making of this as an introduction, watching on to English football. Azon on the bench this afternoon, along with Darnell Furlong. Nunez out with a minor ankle injury at the moment, and Egli just signed too late to become available. O'Shea finds Philogene. Philogene up towards Kiyuste, tried the dummy, read by Clark, cleared by Travis. Ball out on the far side, 40 through to Derby. Had a very good season last season, Lewis Travis, off the back of his campaign with Ipswich Town. Went back to Blackburn and was one of their better performers. They really benefited from his spell down in Suffolk. Now reunited with his former Rovers boss John Eustace at Pride Park. Sanderson in front of the cobbled stand, far side. Launches the throw in. Greaves heads it on. Brewster tries to get in behind O'Shea. O'Shea that turn, got the ball back to Palmer. Palmer plays it out to Matusiwa. Little layoff to O'Shea, now into the path of Young. Town trying to build from the back. Young then goes back to Dara O'Shea. Diagonal switch of play from the captain to the far side, kept in not quite by Philogene. Out for a throw. What do you make of Connor Chaplin back in the side this afternoon, Mick? One of the four
Well,
changes.
as you know, I've always thought he's our best number 10 and has been for about 3 years, you know, and he's just been one of those unfortunate players that I think last year he had 1 or 2 injury problems, but I think the manager was hell-bent on making Amari Hutchinson into a number 10, so it sort of meant that he didn't get many opportunities. And my big fear about Connor is that he's a bubbly character, and if he's not involved, over a period of time, he could lose that sort of bubbliness and might just go a little bit stale. But I'm pleased to see him back in anyway.
Throw on the far side for Derby County, still 0-0. Johnston on his Rams debut. He joined a couple of days ago, kind of had more than a couple of training sessions with them. He and Travis, who only joined yesterday, thrown straight in by John Eustace. Mr. Doughty, the referee, tells Max Johnston to get a wriggle on with this throw-in, and it comes long to the Ipswich town area, headed away by Greaves. There's only one contender for that. Touched by Clark back to the centre circle, and then it goes all the way back via Elder to Zetterstrom. He'll bat it right-footed, straight downfield from left to right, headed back by O'Shea. Excellent work from O'Shea. Tricky one to deal with. He measured that to perfection, the captain, straight back to Palmer with a back header. Matusiwa, nice to see him getting on the ball. Gets up to the halfway line, gives it to Hurst, who's showing. Hurst then tries to play it down the right-hand side. It's reached McAteer after a mistake from Elder. Down on the front foot outside the Derby area. Little ball into the box. There's a glancing header from Forsyth that went back straight to his goalkeeper, thankfully, as far as Derby were concerned.
Yeah, I'm just really sort of looking at... We know that Derby want to play with three at the back, but they're also sort of trying to sort of adjust those positions when they've got possession of the ball, and I'm not sure that they know exactly what they're doing. They end up playing between everything.
Oh, two town players, Greaves and O'Shea, went for the same ball, and Greaves has gone down holding his head. Both of them challenging Carlton Morris, who got away from the pair of them. Such is the life of a centre-half, that kind of challenge. Greaves is up on his feet. It was better that than neither of them going for it, but it could have been nasty. He's going to walk off near side, because quite rightly, two members of the Ipswich Town medical staff were straight on the field. That was an ugly one, but thankfully Greaves is up and okay by the looks of things. We've had, 11.5 minutes gone in this game, still no goals. Hopefully signs that we're going to see a bit more football now that things have calmed down, because it was 200 miles an hour early doors. Derby testing Ipswich Town with some rather direct stuff early on, resulted in a free kick outside the town area, but Town have got things ticking over a bit more since then in terms of their passing possession game. Young goes back to his goalkeeper Palmer. Palmer controls it. He had time to do that before Morris could make up the ground. Cleared to the halfway line. Clark gets there ahead of Hurst. Flick on header by Adams, out to the right hand side by Clark. Former Liverpool player Bobby Clark, now on loan from RB Salzburg, where he played a number of games for them last season. Also played in the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain and Atletico Madrid. Tremendous experience for Bobby Clark. On comes Greaves again, still waiting for the first goal of the afternoon. Davis throws the ball far side for Town, their left. Clark heads it back towards Forsyth. The number 3 goes to Zetterstrom. First time right-footer from him. High spinning ball to the halfway line. Greaves wins his header above Morris. Did well. Kiyusto the drag back, which was easily read and intercepted by Travis. On his bike far side is Johnston. Johnson ball in, nicely controlled by Brewster, edge of the area. Back it goes to the right and Johnston. Johnson whips in his cross to the side netting. Palmer had it covered out behind.
Yeah, it's all very, very fast and furious it is. I mean, that last cross that's gone in, there was no thought about having a touch of the ball before he put it in. It goes in immediately. That's how they're going to play, and that was super control there, you know, just with that ball that went up there, you know, from Clark. And it's just going to be, how long can they sustain it for, Derby? It's all right trying to play this way, but it takes an awful lot of energy to do it.
Well, control was from Brewster, who was the next big thing at one stage when he was at Liverpool. Didn't quite work out from there. He's had a difficult time at Bramall Lane the last few seasons, but still a player of potential at 25. Won the Golden Boot when England won the Under-17s World Cup, remember, a few years ago. In flies Travis, out the ball goes near side. It's been lively in midfield, Lewis Travis. Done a good job for Derby so far. He was a popular member of that Ipswich Town squad a couple of years ago. Played his part in getting that promotion over the line. So far this weekend at this level, wins for Leicester last night. Middlesbrough 4 out of 4. They beat Sheffield United at lunchtime. QPR had a good win in their London derby against Charlton, and West Brom won at Stoke. Big win for Ryan Mason's side against the previously unbeaten Stoke City. Throw in on the far side for Ipswich Town. Leif Davis gets the ball back towards Jacob Greaves. There is Jens Kajuste, who told Graham yesterday he was ready to start matches, and he's in from the outset. There goes Kajuste, lovely change of direction. Ball in the box to Philogene. Philogene across the face of goal. Out to McAteer. Little head back towards Chaplin. Can't get there. Ahead of Clark back defending. That's good play from Ipswich Town. Jens Kajuste started it. Really nice play in midfield. Here come Town once again. Matusiwa to Hurst. Hurst tries to lay it off to McAteer. Unlucky. Just too much on it. McAteer couldn't stretch far enough, and it's out behind goal kick.
Yeah, I think the decision we have to make is that, you know, if Derby want to play fast and furious football, I don't think we've got to sort of match it. You know, we've obviously got to be full of spirit and full of effort when they have the ball. But if we get possession of the ball in good areas and with a bit of time, we must slow it down immediately.
0-0, Graham.
Hull 1 up at Bristol City, Coventry ahead at Oxford, Southampton lead at Watford.
We do wonder how many Coventry might score now, given the way they've been banging in goals recently, the way that Oxford have started the season as well. Long, hard campaign maybe for them ahead. Throw in midway inside Ipswich Town's halfway field for Derby. 16 minutes gone in this championship match. Still 0-0 between these two sides. Town won both fixtures the last time they met, en route to promotion. Here's Callum Elder, the left wing back for Derby, with this throw-in. Derby attacking the Sir Bobby Robson stand in this first period. Elder launches this throw into that box. Palmer comes for it. Greaves wins another header. Particularly strong in the air, Jacob Greaves. Sanderson, a little nod down for Derby. In goes Matusiwa. Out goes the ball off of the Dutchman for the first corner kick of the afternoon.
Yeah, and it's still this fast, furious football, and Derby are going to have so much, a lot of fitness to get through this game. But at the moment, they're doing very well. Every player seems to support the ball when they've got possession of it. Every player defends when they haven't.
And on their energy levels, a fair few of these Derby players played in the week against Burnley in the Carabao Cup when they lost to Scott Parker's side. So you can imagine a fade at some time. Derby corner, in it comes, headed away well by Greaves. Excellent delivery from the set piece initially. Here comes Clark getting away from Philogene. Little reverse pass, edge of the area, touch to the left-hand side. Chance for Johnston to deliver. In from him, headed down by Matusiwa. Shot from Adams, edge of the area. Brewster into the box. Nice control from Morris. Still Carlton Morris tries to pick his spot in the far top corner. It's come off an Ipswich Town defender for another corner kick to Derby. They were a real threat there.
Yeah, they are actually at the moment. I mean, they've been told to play this way, and they're doing it very, very well. They're trying to get the crosses in with the minimum amount of touches. They get bodies into the box. They're very, very energetic, and it has actually worried Town a little bit because we can't play the slow-paced football that we normally play.
It's been an important block, important deflection from an Ipswich Town perspective there. I think he was fairly happy with his connection, Carlton Morris, and that would have caused Palmer lots of problems. Corner kick to Derby. 18 minutes gone at Portman Road, 0-0. Left-footed towards the near stick, headed away by Young. It's an Ipswich Town ball. Free kick by the looks of things for the challenge on the veteran inside Palmer's 6-yard area.
Yeah, it was another decent ball in. Their service looks pretty good coming in from corners and crosses. And they seem to favour the ball going in with a lot of pace, which makes it really difficult for anybody to defend.
Live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. First of back-to-back home games for Ipswich Town. 13 days from now, Sheffield United are here for an 8 o'clock kick-off on the Friday night, which I'm guessing is the first game in the Championship after the international break. Fair few of these Ipswich Town players are going to be away on that international break. 5 of them on island duty. It'll be an important fortnight for Kieran McKenna and co on the training field for those that are left behind. Hurst, another that won't be there. Hurst lays the ball off to Kajuste. Good sliding challenge by Adams. So far this season, no one has won back possession more at this level than Ebu Adams. He did very well there. Here is Clark through the legs of Young, up to Morris, given away though by Adams on this occasion. McAteer plays it off Morris on halfway. Town have a throw in between the two managers. Yeah, we can't settle on the ball because this pressure is really relentless from Derby County. So we've got more goal news, Graham.
Yeah, Bristol City have levelled against Hull. Oxford have levelled against Coventry, 1-1.
Greaves towards Davis. On the far touchline is Fullergy. Davis a few yards in from it. Kayuste, a little nonchalant touch, finds Greaves. Now O'Shea in the centre circle. Town work it to this near side the right with Chaplin. Making a run is McAteer. Chaplin still has the ball. Bundles it down the line. It's worked out a treat. In comes a good-looking cross. Headed down by Sanderson as far as Davis hits the ground. His shot's on target. Bounced up nicely. Zetterstrom on his line again. Ipswich Town dangerous.
Yeah, Connor Chaplin in the end did very, very good work down the right-hand side. He got a little bit lucky with a couple of sort of ricochets, but in the end he got himself into a good crossing position, and it was a good ball in and a good position by Leif Davis as well.
To see we're getting the better of Clark. There is Leif Davis. Jens Kayuste just short of the centre circle. Now Ashley Young started at Bromley, but this is his first league start. Poor touch from Hurst. Travis robbed him in midfield. Lewis Travis for Derby to the left-hand side, gives it to Clark. Poor play from Hurst allowed Derby to get into this position, but then poor play from Clark has given it away to Ipswich, thankfully. O'Shea passes it out short to Matasiwa, growing game by game. Switch of play from Matasiwa straight to Philogene. Tell already he's going to be a player that Town fans enjoy watching, as or Matasiwa. Laid off back by Hurst to the halfway line. Kayuste, Matasiwa back on the ball. Chaplin on the right-hand side gives it to McAteer. Chance to run at his defender Elder one-on-one. Low ball in from McAteer. Dealt with by Forsyth, not fully. Only as far as Ashley Young. Young stands on the ball, gives it in field in the sunshine to Matasiwa. Kayuste in the D, back towards Matasiwa. Nice link-up play from those two to a point. Derby got a man in the way. The crowd react positively. Town playing some decent football. Philogene gets it from Greaves, looks up, goes square to Matasiwa, back to Kayuste, 35 yards from goal in the central area. Square, he finds Young. On the line is McAteer, the number 20, near side, up against Elder. Checks back towards Young. Young infield to Kayuste. Kayuste's loose touch, trying to bring Matasiwa back into the game. Finds the Derby goalkeeper instead.
Well, a little bit better, the possession play there, but then you look at Derby County and every player was definitely within 35 yards of their sort of goalkeeping position. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. When they have the ball, they will support it all over the place. When they haven't got the ball, they will drop off and become a formidable force.
Poor header from Adams. Chaplin lifts it over the top. Hurst couldn't get onto that. And it's back with Zetterstrom once again as we reach the halfway stage of this first half here at Portman Road. Still goalless. Time with 4 changes pre-kick-off. Young, Kayuste, McAteer and Chaplin all into the side. Matasiwa has given the ball away for the first time. I think in terms of potential debuts, Furlong and Azon both on the bench. No Nunez or Eggley just yet. Davis up towards Hurst. Hurst with a poor layoff to Adams. Got to do better, George Hurst. Kayuste lifts it nicely over the top of Brewster. Back towards Greaves. Town on top. They've got to make it count. Young. Early ball into box towards Hurst, headed away by Clark. Important from him as well. Greaves brings it down but loses it. Morris touches it towards Brewster. Brewster goes down. A little nudge from Davis. Might be a useful partnership eventually as they get games between the Morris and Brewster, but on this occasion Brewster is fouled. Free kick on halfway.
Yeah, I think we're just slowly but surely sort of getting a little bit of I wouldn't say good control in the game, but we're getting a little bit of possession in good areas, because it's all been around the Derby County penalty area, but we've still got to take the sting out of Derby, because they're playing in a way that is worrying us.
Won 4 of their last 6 here, Derby County. In fact, in meetings between these two sides, Town have got a really good record at Pride Park. They've got a good one here. I think 8 out of the last 11 have been away wins over the course of the last 7-8 plus years that these two sides have met. Derby just their second season back at this level after 2 in League One. Didn't do as long a stint as Ipswich Town at that level, but they have experienced third-tier football in recent years. Actually, they got fewer points last season than the year they got relegated. It's just they had 21 points deducted for financial reasons the year they got relegated from the Championship. Obviously, if they'd had those 21 points on the board, they wouldn't have gone down. Here is Elder. with a throw for Derby at 0-0. And it comes to the Ipswich Town box. Illegal throw, feet clearly on the pitch. Spotted, more importantly, by the man with the checkered flag down below me.
Well, they had 6 players sort of just in front of our goalkeeper, sort of running around in a circle, and that's a massive target to hit. And the guy that's taking the throw in, the one thing he forgot about was actually staying off the pitch when he took the throw in.
A minor issue. Off the ball, Matthew Seward and Clark collide. Ashley Young having a word with the referee about that incident. Clark having words with Matthew Seward. Both of them have been brought towards the referee. Clark really annoyed with Matthew Seward leaning into him. Matthew Seward's face a picture of innocence. Don't think he's going to take any more action. The 2 captains are as well, O'Shea and Adams, not for the first time in this game. They're still having a chat between the 2 of them. Clark suggests that Matthew Seward went in with his head. Right, let's just get this game back underway, shall we, Mr. Doughty? Ashley Young was as keen as anybody to do that. He's got the ball in his hands off to our left-hand side. Thrown in by Young to Kayuste. Up in the air from the former Manchester United player. Headed on by Clark, only to Matthew Seward. He springs the ball to the left. Brewster goes after it. Davis gets there first, just leans into Brewster. Right old battle between those 2. Eventually the free kick goes the direction of Leif Davis.
Yeah, they're just putting extreme pressure on us whenever. It doesn't matter who's receiving the ball, where the ball is, they try to get pressure on.
Poor from Hurst again. It's not doing well enough. Morris to Clark outside the Ipswich Town area. Something that infuriated Alex Matthew last week from Hurst. Elder crosses towards the far stick. Easy for Palmer. He's got to make that ball stick a lot better than he has been doing, Hurst, particularly not under a great deal of pressure, which he hasn't done a few
Elder
times.
wasn't balanced enough to get that cross in, but because the manager said get it in as early as possible, he's trying to put a cross in when he wasn't really balanced, and it goes harmlessly to the Town goalkeeper Palmer.
O'Shea, good ball to the left-hand side. Philogene controls it. A bit of space in which to roam. Closed down now by a couple of players, Johnston and Sanderson. Philogene briefly gets away from Johnston. Then in field to Matthew Seward outside the Derby area. To the left, Davis. Early ball in, deflected. Town of a corner after 27 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit of possession play that was sort of allowed us, to win a corner kick there. The cross wasn't quite what Leif Davis had intended, but he's got himself a corner kick anyway, so let's see what we can do with this.
Ashley Young on this corner kick for Ipswich Town. They were practicing set pieces intensely before kick-off with Mark Hudson, the set-piece specialist. Let's see what Young can do from this one. Right-footed, and it comes to the Derby area, headed over the bar by Greaves under pressure from Clark. A little bit less forehead on that, and that would have possibly been 1-0.
Yeah, we had 5 players sort of just on the edge of the 6-yard box there, and one that was just lurking outside, which was Dara O'Shea. So with 6 players in the box, and the ball came in and did momentarily cause problems.
Derby being accused of time wasting whilst Mick was chatting there. Eventually Zetterstrom clears his lines off the edge of his 6-yard area. The ball flies forward from right to left towards Morris under pressure from O'Shea. McAteer picks up the ball. It's a lucky ricochet. Eventually reaches Philogene. Philogene does well. Out to the left-hand side, Leif Davis keeps it in front of the cobbled stand. The left back then goes back to Jacob Greaves. 17 minutes in the first half to go on BBC Radio Suffolk. 0-0. Kayuste holds the ball up well against Travis. Gives it back to Matthew Seward now. He goes across the field and finds Young. On halfway now is Dara O'Shea. Both managers on the edge of their technical areas. O'Shea picks out Philogene, left half area, cuts in field a little bit, stands on it, eventually gives it to Leif Davis. His heels on the touchline far side. Back it goes to Philogene. Town attacking the goal off to our right in their blue shirts. Philogene bluffs his cross, eventually gets it in left-footed towards the far post, headed away by Elder onto the chest of Clark. Couple of keepy-uppy touches and then goes long. The ball bounces on the centre spot. Palmer is there just behind it for Ipswich. O'Shea finds Kayuste. Back to O'Shea in the centre circle. Town with the bulk of the possession. Still no goals for either side in this game. Kiyuste in midfield, carries it forward a few yards, then to the right hand side, gives it to Young. Now with McAteer, too heavy a touch. Clark went in there, infield Elder, gives it to Morris. Morris back to Adams, Chaplin tries to win it. Adams gets it eventually back to Clark near side. Little ball in field, Adams stretches, challenges Matusiwa, is fouled. So it's a free kick to Derby.
Yeah, I think their way of playing is actually winning the day at the moment. There's obviously no goals been scored. You know, there's really been very, very little sort of efforts at goal. But this fast and furious, physical sort of approach by Derby County has sort of shaded the game, if you like. Town, who are desperately trying to get some football going, just to finding it so difficult.
Overhit free kick from Forsyth, skips off the edge of the Ipswich area through to Palmer. Palmer bowls it underarm up to Kiyuste. Lovely a bit of skill from Kiyuste. Takes Travis to the cleaners, out to the left-hand side, and Philogene into the area. Jaden Philogene overlapping is Davis in the box. Davis pulls it back for Chaplin. Chaplin shoots, blocked by Hurst, cleared away by Derby, and as far as Matusiwa. Clark for Derby. Again, nice move, some promise there. The ball bounces up, hits the face of Greaves. He eventually hooks it square and out on the far side away from Brewster. And it's a throw to Derby.
That's just an example of where if you don't make too many changes to your team, that those little things. Leif Davis has got himself in an excellent overlapping position, and straight away he knows where Connor Chaplin is going to go. That comes from playing together a lot of times, you know, and for over a number of 2, 3, 4 years. You know, he immediately cut the ball back as Connor Chaplin withdrew from the attacking position, and that's what we're missing at the moment, those little things from two players.
O'Shea crossing halfway, long run forward by the captain, then gives it to the right hand side, and Young on his full league debut trying to take on Elder with a trick or two, held up by Elder. Young's done well to find McAteer in the area, and now just outside the box. Casey McAteer, wide right, outside the Derby area. Gives it back to Matusiwa, square to Greaves. Town pressing from left to right. Inside the Derby area is Philogene. Goes into the middle towards Chaplin, who gets underneath it on the stretch, 12 yards out. Come off a Derby player. Town have won a corner under the big screen in the far corner. Yeah,
that wasn't sort of intended. The cross was intended to go in sort of closer to the 6-yard box. It takes a deflection off a Derby County player and ironically finds Connor Chaplin, who half gets a shot away but wins a corner.
Corner kick to Ipswich Town, their second of the game, from over in the far right corner. Town attacking the Sir Alf Ramsey stand for the next 12.5 minutes of this first half, 0-0. And it comes from Young, right-footed, and it's headed in! Town make the breakthrough, and it's a first Portman Road goal for Jacob Greaves. Ipswich lead Derby by 1-0 at Portman Road.
Well, we had a whole host of players in the 6-yard box. It was 5 players. Dara O'Shea is the one that hangs out on the penalty spot. In the end, he makes a run in. The ball comes in, beats everybody, and Jacob Greaves actually heads the ball in by stooping low and just cushioning it over the line. He didn't have to jump, he didn't have to do anything. It just beat the whole cluster of players.
And the previous goal was at Anfield. He's now put Ipswich Town 1-0 up at home to Derby County in the Championship. Could be a big goal, that one.
It's amazing. He's 6 foot odd tall, and he actually had to head the ball from about 3 foot off the ground. It was an amazing thing. The ball was good because it's beaten everybody, but there's a bit of confusion in the Derby ranks, and Jacob Greaves takes up a nice position on the back post and made himself available.
Some tell me to do more often, score goals from centre half. Haven't done it anywhere near enough in recent times. Ball given away by Ipswich. No, it was a foul by Elder on this near side on McAteer, and he's going to get a yellow card, not for the foul, for the reaction. First caution of the afternoon, Callum Elder's name.
Yeah, the referee's making out that he's given the yellow card for the tackle. but it was really purely and simply because of the reaction. Referees don't like players reacting towards them like that.
Free kick to Ipswich in the right back area, off to our left hand side. Ipswich Town, a goal to the good. A game heading into which most people agreed it's one that they've got to go on and win, really, all things considered. O'Shea, ball down this touchline, headed away by Forsyth, chested by Chaplin. Chaplin has it down this near side underneath us infield to Matthew Siwa, helps it on its way, but straight to Brewster rather than Kayuste. A rarity from the Dutchman. Brewster now to Clark on the left hand side, has to get away from Ashley Young. Matthew Siwa wins it back well. Chaplin for Ipswich Town with their tails up. McAteer gives it back to O'Shea, early on to Matthew Siwa, just underneath the centre circle. Kayuste goes to the goal scorer Greaves. Greaves forward to Davis. Philogene wants it far side, keeping his place in the side. Philogene, 3 starts in a row for him. Now O'Shea to Young. Young gives it back to his captain, one of those about to head on off an international duty with Ireland, Dara O'Shea. Young, the former England international, plays the ball into the box for Hurst. Hurst just eased off of it by Clark out behind.
That was a lovely ball by Ashley Young, but Hurst he cannot let the ball hit the ground because he's only about 4 or 5 yards from the byline, you know, and that ball is just going to skip through. He'll never be able to keep it in play. He's got to get to the ball first and control it.
Yeah, there's a nice pass showing his undoubted quality there. Young with that one. Morris and O'Shea, had a shirt tugging between the two, but it was 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, so the referee let it go. Given away by Clark, then given away by Kayuste. It looked like a handball, not given. The referee was in a really good spot for it. Brewster finds Travis. Lewis Travis has a go, but he's not known for his goal scoring from any distance, least of all 25 yards, and Palmer didn't have to worry about that one.
Well, they've sort of got away with it, but they were really sort of tigerish in the tackle there, Derby County. They managed to win the ball and actually created sort of a good opportunity for a shot from about 22 yards, but they're very, very tough when they make the challenges.
Greaves' clearance hits Brewster, then he heads it away towards Philogene, up from Kayuste to the halfway line. Clark underneath it. Just the one start for Town in his spell early on in his career. Matt Clark, remember him do well at Crawley in the League Cup. 4 other appearances in total. Derby in midfield. Morris with a layoff back to Brewster. On the right hand side, Johnston taking on Davis. In comes in, really good ball. Excellent defending from O'Shea. That was terrific, because otherwise 100% certain Morris was about to make it 1-1 in behind him.
Yes, he was. The ball in was absolutely spot on. Brilliant ball, low, fast, into that sort of danger zone between defenders and goalkeeper. And had that not been sort of dealt with by O'Shea, then that would have been just a side foot ball in the back of the net. Great cross.
Davis has done well down the line to Philogene. Philogene switches it back to this near side. Up will go Elder, gets ahead of McAteer. His header hits Bobby Clark. He can't control it. The youngster now puffs out his cheeks. The Derby number 42. Young to Matthew Siwa, who can turn with those orange boots. He goes up to Hurst. Hurst held up by Clark. Hurst held on to the ball. Allowed then Chaplin to take it up. Greaves to Davis. Davis in field towards Kayuste. Kayuste stabs it back to Chaplin. Chaplin to the right-hand side. Young takes it on his chest. Might have a go. He does. Isn't too far away. Appeals for a corner kick and gets it. It was a clean hit from the former England man.
Yeah, super play. And the man that's sort of figured in all of that play was Connor Chaplin. He's the one that can really settle the Town down. You know, his control is good, his passing is good, his awareness is good, and he's worked that ball lovely on the left hand side, and in the end it comes to Ashley Young on the right hand side, and that was a good effort.
Young on this set piece. Ipswich Town scored from their last corner kick in this game. What can they do from this one with 6 minutes of the first half to go? They lead Derby 1-0. In from Young again, good delivery. Headed by Clark as far as Chaplin. Chaplin then hooks it towards the far stick. Up goes the goalkeeper. Beaten there by McAteer. Now the goalkeeper was fouled, says the referee. Not too many people in here would agree with that.
Well, I think the goalkeeper...
yellow for his reaction, so that's a yellow apiece in the last few minutes for players' reactions to decisions.
Yeah, no, to be quite honest, when that ball was put in, I thought the goalkeeper was going to be struggling on it. It was always going too far for him, and he was sort of going to be pretty weak on the challenge. And for me, the challenge wasn't over-aggressive, and the referee might have got that slightly wrong.
Yeah, never a foul on the goalkeeper. And McAteer's on a yellow for what he said afterwards. Kiyuste, lovely touch to Chaplin. Chaplin towards Philogene. Philogene still got it. He hammers it into the side netting. And the angle had pretty much gone against him. Lovely play from Kiyuste to start that little move as well.
Yeah, it's a brilliant bit of footwork by Kiyuste in the centre of midfield. It took him immediately into a very advantageous position, and from there we almost got ourselves a second goal.
Difficult ball for Philogene to deal with in mitigation from Chaplin, but wonderful from the Swede that started that move. 5 minutes of the first half to go. Ipswich lead Derby 1-0 live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Every kick of every Ipswich Town game. Mick will be with me when Sheffield United visit a week on Friday. Then after that, Town are away to Blackburn. Another Lancastrian trip the following weekend. Then Portsmouth come here. Bristol City is a midweek away game. And then ball over the top, I'll tell you more in a second. Ball over the top from Greaves to Hurst inside the area. Pulls it back towards Kiyuste. Nice spin from him. Couldn't carry the ball on. The next game after that, there's a certain game against Norwich City here at the start of October. It's their former Canary striker Morris fighting a losing battle as he chased after that ball. O'Shea instead finds Young. Town on top at the moment. On the centre spot, Kiyuste looked to business in his first start of the season. Back at Portman Road for another loan from Napoli. Here is Matusiwa up towards Chaplin. Back it goes from him to Young. Now O'Shea in the centre of the field, carrying it forward. The captain to the left-hand side finds Greaves. Greaves running down the left, in comes his cross across the face of goal. All of a sudden he's a real attacking force, Jacob Greaves. The ball's out near side for a Derby throw.
Yeah, that was good play, and I was watching Connor Chaplin, who loves this right-hand position, and in the end he ended up behind McAteer, and when the ball went left, he was telling McAteer to go in, I'm too far out, I can't get there, go in. And then the cross comes in, and then I know what Connor Chaplin's saying. That's exactly where I wanted you to go.
3 minutes of the first half to go. Town lead 1-0 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Chaplin to Young on this right-hand side. Had that effort on goal a few moments ago. Infield from McAteer to Chaplin. Little backhill from Chaplin, finds Matusiwa. Town quite comfortably the better team. Kiyuste to Davis, sets himself, hits off target into the lower tier off to our right.
Yeah, I think Town has sort of got control of the game. It's taken a long time because Derby were pretty good at what they were doing. You know, they were playing very aggressive football, very direct football, and it did worry Town. But we got that goal, and that was the all-important thing. It's just given us the belief that we need. It's probably taken a little bit of the inspiration out of Derby County, and at this present moment it looks more likely that Town can get a second one rather than Derby could get an equaliser before half-time, you know. And if anything, are they getting a little bit tired, Derby County, sort of having tried to play at 100 mile an hour?
Ashley Young with this throw-in for Ipswich, one of the 4 pre-game changes that Kieran McKenna made to the Preston team. John Eustace just sitting on his seat, visiting manager looking at his screen. Young is closed down by Elder. Elder wins a couple of headers, eventually comes down to Young. Young plays it off Elder, knew exactly what he was doing. Well, the referee says it came back off Ashley Young. It's a Derby throw on this near side, which Forsyth is going to be taken for them, trying to get a goal back, an equaliser before half-time. Board is being readied. Looked like 2 minutes to be added on, although we're still a minute away from that being confirmed. And McAteer clears the ball out of play for another throw-in to Derby, this time looking along the edge of the Ipswich Town penalty box off to our left. It'll be very much against the run of play if Derby can get a goal back any time soon. They've thrown forward the 3 centre-halves, as you would imagine, inside Palmer's area. Clark has been marked by Ashley Young, I can see. Here comes the throw from Elder into the Ipswich Town area, headed up by Matasiwa, edge of the area, nodded back into the box by Brewster. It's a good leap from him, but the ball's out behind. Goal kick to Palmer.
Yeah, it was a good throw-in to start with. That they got that six-man little circle going, and he hurled the ball into that area. It gets cleared to the edge of the box, and the ball that goes back in, I thought, was a good one and deserved to be attacked, but nobody decided to attack it.
Palmer, Ipswich Town's number 1, gets ready to take this goal kick in a central area off the edge of his 6-yard box. It goes through the halfway line, headed forward by Forsyth, nodded on by Brewster. Morris is going to go after it. O'Shea's there ahead of him, and then he tries to find Philogene. Sanderson's header hits the back of Philogene, drops down handily for Matt Clark, a Derby player. Yeah, 2 minutes confirmed, which we're just heading into at the end of this first half. Town with a lead. Young wins the header at the back for Ipswich, given by Forsyth to Travis. Too heavy a touch from Travis. Hursts onto it for Ipswich. Into the box, McAteer, a chance. Pulls it square, blocked off behind by Clark. Killing for handball, McAteer. It's a corner kick rather than a penalty to Ipswich.
Well, Hurst has put McAteer into a lovely position, and he had two choices. Go hard and low to hit the first man that's coming towards the ball, which he chose to do, but there was a lovely little dink ball over the top of the initial scene where Philogene was standing on his own.
Here comes Leif Davis with Ipswich Town's 4th and potentially final corner kick of this first half. We're a minute into the added on 2 ahead of the interval. Town lead 1-0. His right hand is in the air off to our right, that's the signal, and it goes towards the far stick, headed against the post. Well, the player flying in, it was Dara O'Shea. We nearly had both centre-halves scoring in this first half.
Yeah, and it's the back post position that's really sort of been the key to both of those. One the goal, and that one that was a good chance that's come off the post. And there's a massive near post scene which is ignored, and the ball goes past that to the very far post.
O'Shea to the left, and Philogene headed down and out by Sanderson underneath the travelling support from Derbyshire. Final 30 seconds of this first half, which has been a profitable one for Ipswich Town thanks to this man Greaves. He's given the ball to Matasiwa. To the left side, Davis. Back it goes to Greaves. Now O'Shea for Ipswich Town in the central third of Portman Road. Square again to Jacob Greaves. Up towards Kayuste, robbed by Clark. Matt Clark, that is. One back by Philogene towards Chaplin. Chaplin gives it to Matasiwa. That's it for the first half. Ipswich Town lead Derby County by 1. Jacob Greaves, goal to 0, McMills.
Yeah, well, I think that if this game has started slowly, I think what you would have seen was the way the two teams are set out. Derby would have had sort of 8 players through the centre of the pitch, 3 centre-backs, 3 in the centre of midfield and 2 strikers, and it would have been really difficult when you actually set it out to say, well, you can go through the centre of the pitch. But in the wide areas, our 2 fullbacks are free agents. But unfortunately, the game never really settled down so we could use those 2 fullbacks. It was very much the system of Derby that was winning the day. But then, slowly but surely, we got our wide areas going. Not so much the left-hand side. That was okay with Leif Davis, who's free, with Philogene in front of him, with only 1 player playing on the right touchline for Derby. But it was down this side, the right-hand side for Town, where we started to get possession, started to get joy. And it was not only that we were 2v1 down this side with Ashley Young and McAteer against the left wing back for Derby County, but Connor Chaplin was coming over to that favoured position of his between the fullback and the wide right player. So we had 3v1 down this side, and all of a sudden we start to get some good possession. We start to worry Derby County. We've now gotten a goal in front from a corner, and slowly but surely, when you talk about the last 10 or 15 minutes of the half, it was Town's. But the first half an hour was a slight worry because of the way Derby County had set about playing. 100-mile-an-hour football, just Route 1 football, if you like. Very, very hungry in the tackle. When there was a 50-50, they went for it. They really did go for it. And I think those three things actually worried Town. But fortunately, we get the first goal. And then all of a sudden, we start to play our football. Now, I think when we come out in the second half, I think the manager's got to tell the players to remember what we've got down the sides as opposed through the middle. Derby County, through the middle of the pitch, 3 centre-halves, 3 central midfield players and 2 strikers. 8 out of 10 players are wanting to operate through that area. We need to go round the sides. That's where we've got the numbers. That's where we can get the most joy.
Full second half commentary to come on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. But thanks to Jacob Greaves, first goal at Portman Road. Ipswich Town lead Derby County by 1-0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, 3 results already today from the lunchtime kickoffs. 4 wins out of 4 for Middlesbrough. Tommy Conway with the only goal of the game as they beat Sheffield United 1-0. The Blades still without a point this season from their opening 4 matches. Stoke have dropped their first points of the campaign, beaten 1-0 at home to West Brom. Nat Phillips on target for the Baggies. QPR have a first win of the campaign. They've seen off Charlton by 3-1. Half-time scores from the other 3 o'clock kickoffs. Norwich lead 1-0 at Blackburn. Josh Sargent from the penalty spot on the stroke of half-time. Bristol City have come from behind to lead Hull City by 3-1 at Ashton Gate. Millwall and Wrexham are goalless at the Den. Coventry back in front at Oxford. They lead 2-1. Portsmouth 1, Preston 0. Andre Dazelle on target for Pompey. It's goalless at Hillsborough between Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea. Southampton are ahead away at Watford this afternoon. Cameron Archer with a goal on 10 minutes at Vicarage Road. In the Premier League, Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. A full-time score from the early kick-off. João Pedro in the 9th minute of stoppage time at the end of the first half. Then Enzo Fernandez from the penalty spot 11 minutes after the restart. In the 3 o'clock kick-off, still playing at Old Trafford, 7 minutes of stoppage time there. Manchester United leading Burnley by a Josh Cullen own goal to 0. Sunderland and Brentford are goalless at the break at the Stadium of Light. Tottenham Hotspur trailing 1-0 at home to Bournemouth. Evan Nielsen on target for the Cherries. At Molineux, it's Wolves 1, Everton 2. Leeds versus Newcastle is the 5:30 kickoff. 8 Suffolk non-league sides in FA Cup first round of qualifying action this afternoon. Bury Town trailing 2-1 at Brightlingsea Regent when we last checked in. Leiston were 1-1 away at Cheshunt. Needham Market leading Tilbury by 2-0. In the all-county clash at the Mel Group Stadium, AFC Sudbury were on top 1-0 at home to Mildenhall. No news of any goals at Whittam Town, where Lowestoft Town are the visitors in the FA Cup this afternoon. Newmarket Town 2, Woodford Town 1. Haverhill Rovers also in FA Cup qualifying action this afternoon, trailing 1-0 at home to Waltham Abbey when we last checked in. There's one match of note in the Isthmian North today as well. Josh Mayhew giving Felixstowe and Walton United an early lead in their match with Grays Athletic. On the way during our half-time report, we'll bring you first half highlights from Portman Road. We'll also hear from Marley Packer, who will captain England's women's rugby players later today in their second group game at this year's World Cup.
Friday evenings from 7 with Angel Joseph.
I want to connect and I want to speak patois because I hear my granddad speak patois, but I don't do it like them, so they don't really believe me.
It's not said with conviction, is it?
My patois is good around certain people.
I hear my mum sometimes talking to my nan and I'm like, that don't sound authentic.
Yeah.
And she was born in Antigua.
Because my mum grew up in Barbados, she didn't really experience racism until she came to this country. But yeah, it was something that me and my sister experienced from a very young age. Immediately going to school, you suddenly like, oh, I'm different to other people, and they take umbrage to that.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
You with Match Day? It's coming up to 5-4. Ipswich Town leading Derby County by Jacob Greaves goal to 0. Full second half commentary on the way shortly. We'll bring you first half highlights before we rejoin Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley live. At the Women's Rugby World Cup, England face Samoa in Northampton later today in both sides' second group match. It's a 5 p.m. start. England have made 13 changes from the team that thrashed the USA last time out. Marley Packer will captain the Red Roses as Zoe Aldcroft has been ruled out of the rest of the pool stage. BBC Sport's Joe Curry has been speaking to Packer and started by asking how she and the squad are doing following that win in the opening match.
I think the squad are emotionally all in a bit of a different areas at the moment. Obviously, you had the match day 23 start the competition, which obviously the game itself takes a toll on you, but having a home World Cup, the fans, the everything up in Sunderland, the emotions rode high. So I think we've had a bit of mixed emotions coming off the back of that. But then we've also got players that are ready to go again, that had a tough training week last week. We got put through our paces, the players that didn't play. So actually that we're ready for this week and excited to get our World Cup started.
You not just have the shirt back on this weekend, you'll also have the captain's armband back on. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it just means everything. Like it's a bit cliche saying it. It's an honour and a privilege to play for your country, but to captain your country in a World Cup is an absolute complete honour. And for me, rewind 3 years, it was the first time I captained my country against South Africa. So to do it again at a World Cup is very special. But my son will be there watching, which means the world. And you know, we're a very special tight group, and for me that, you know, there's multiple players that could wear the armband for this team and lead, because we've got so many amazing leaders, whether, you know, they lead by example, the way they speak makes my job so much more easier. And I think, you know, with Zoe, that was the one thing that when we pass the armband over to each other, that, you know, any support we can do for one another, we do that. And after training today, me, Meg and her caught up just like quickly after training and just caught up on a couple of things that what we've seen in the session, but also how we want to drive going into this week's game, but also into the future game and how we want to train.
The fact you know that you won't wear the armband every England game now, does it mean that when you do, you just take that extra moment just to take it all in, particularly with it being at a World Cup? Yeah, definitely, because in rugby, you never know when it's going to be your last game, let alone your last game as captain. So, yeah, and enjoy it. Like, that's my biggest thing. My biggest thing coming into this World Cup was to enjoy it, because I do know this will be my last World Cup. I won't. Is that definite? Yeah, I don't think I've got another 4 years in me. But, like, the thing is about it, we went to the 2014 World Cup 11 years ago now, and, you know, I was a young whippersnapper and I was just there to have a good time, and what would be, and suddenly me and Alex Matthews, we were playing in the big games, we were being selected and we were loving it, and not taking it away from the last two World Cups, but there was a lot more pressure to, like, we were in more of the leadership roles, we were older, we knew what it meant to win a World Cup, but we also knew what it felt to lose a World Cup. So I really went into the mindset this time round is that first I needed to get selected to be in this World Cup. Like, the back row we have in the Red Roses are world class. Like, you would put any of our back row in any other team and I'm pretty sure they get selected to start every time. So I needed to make sure I got myself selected into the World Cup, and then to find myself in this position again is actually just enjoy it. And enjoy it with, like, the people like I love, like I said, my son Oliver's come in, and just make sure that I have a moment with him on the pitch afterwards, because, you know, that's the bit I know he loves doing as well. I'm not sure about the bit about watching it, because I think he gets a little bit bored. He still tells me I'm the best rugby player in the world, and it still means everything when it comes out of his mouth. But I go, mate, I'm not anymore, but thank you.
That's England rugby player Marley Packer with Joe Curry ahead of the Red Roses World Cup match with Samoa in Northampton later today. One match already complete today. It was a big win for Canada against Wales, 42-0, the final score to leave Wales on the brink. They're going out of the tournament before the quarter-final stage. Some updates with regards to goals in FA Cup first round of qualifying. Bury Town have equalised at Brightlingsea, so it's now 2-2 in that one. Lowestoft Town trailing 2-0 away at Whittam Town. Ipswich Town are on top in our latest full match commentary. The second half is next.
Chance for Johnston to deliver in from from him, headed down by Matisiwa. Shot from Adams, edge of the area. Brewster into the box. Nice control from Morris. Still Carlton Morris tries to pick his spot in the far top corner. It's come off an Ipswich Town defender for another corner kick to Derby. They were a real threat there. Chaplin making a run is McAteer. Chaplin still has the ball. Bundles it down the line. It's worked out a treat. In comes a good-looking cross. Headed down by Sanderson as far as Davis hits the ground. His shot's on target. Bounced up nicely. Zetterstrom on his line again. Ipswich Town dangerous. Palmer bowls it underarm up to Kayuste. Lovely a bit of skill from Kayuste. Takes Travis to the cleaners. Out the left-hand side and Philogene into the area. Jaden Philogene overlapping is Davis in the box. Davis pulls it back for Chaplin. Chaplin shoots blocked by Hurst. Cleared away by Derby. Out as far as Matisiwa. Corner kick to Ipswich Town, their second of the game, from over in the far right corner. Town attacking the Sir Ralph Ramsey stand for the next 12 and a half minutes of this first half. 0-0. And it comes from Young, right-footed, and it's headed in! Town make the breakthrough, and it's a first Portman Road goal for Jacob Greaves. Ipswich lead Derby by 1-0 at Portman Road. Davison field towards Kayuste. Kayuste stabs it back to Chaplin. Chaplin to the right-hand side. Young takes it on his chest. Might have a go. He does. Isn't too far away. Appeals for a corner kick and gets it. It's a clean hit from the former England man. Kayuste, lovely touch to Chaplin. Chaplin towards Philogene. Philogene still got it. He hammers it into the side netting. And the angle had pretty much gone against him. Lovely play from Kayuste to start that little move as well. And it goes towards the far stick, headed against the post. Well, the player flying in, it was Dara O'Shea. We nearly had both centre-halves scoring in this first half.
After 5 punishing weeks,
the atmosphere was so intense.
13 players have been on the adventure of a lifetime.
There's so many twists and turns.
This game is killing me.
But it all comes down to one final question. Where the X are we?
How do you know what's a clue and what's not a clue and what's a red herring? It's tough.
Destination X.
Oh my word.
Watch all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
A full roundup of today's non-league locally during the final half hour at today's matchday programme from 5:30. But just to recap, half-times in FA Cup first round of qualifying. Bury Town a 2-2 at Brightlingsea. Leiston 1-1 at Cheshunt. 2 goals for Luke Ingram means Needham Market are in control against Tilbury 2-0. AFC Sudbury leading Mildenhall by a Marcel Lewis goal to nil. Lowestoft 2-0 down at Whittam. Newmarket 2-1 up at home to Woodford. Haverhill Rovers trailing 1-0 at home to Waltham Abbey. In the Championship this afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoffs. Norwich 1 up at Blackburn. Second half just underway. Bristol City lead Hull 3-1. Millwall and Wrexham are goalless. Oxford 1, Coventry 2. Portsmouth leading Preston by an Andre Dezelle goal to nil. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Swansea 0. Southampton 1 up at Watford. More importantly, Ipswich Town 1 up at home to Derby County. Jacob Greaves on target. Let's rejoin Mick Mills and first Brenna Woolley ahead of the second half.
2 teams out in front of us. Town in blue, white, blue will be playing from right to left up against the white, black, white of Derby. The 2 teams, there weren't any changes in that first half, incidentally. Town have got Palmer in goal. The back 4 of Young, O'Shea, Greaves the goal scorer, and Davis. Then it's Matisiwa alongside Kayuste. Then it's McAteer on a yellow, Chaplin and Philogene, the attacking players in support of Hurst. On the bench, Walton, Furlong, Azon, Taylor, Smodix, Akpom, Clark, Kipre and Johnson. No Wolfenden or Ogbenny in the squad, both fit as far as we know. Zetterstrom in all orange is the Derby keeper in front of the North stand. His back 3, Sanderson, Matt Clark and Forsyth. Then a 4 of Johnston, Travis, Adams the captain and Elder on a yellow. Bobby Clark playing in and around Morris and Brewster. On the bench, Vickers, Bart, Vyman, Salverson, Thompson, Ozo, Jackson, Ward and Nyambe. As is the norm, both teams, one would imagine, will make numerous changes throughout this second half, particularly Derby because of their high energy, high intensity play, particularly early on in that first half, and the fact they had a cup game against Burnley last midweek. Play back underway in lovely sunshine now all of a sudden at Portman Road. Here is Greaves belting the ball high down this left-hand side underneath us. Hurst shoves Sanderson to the floor. Free kick to Derby County. Of course, Ipswich Town trying to win a league game on this pitch for the first time since Chelsea just before New Year. 9 defeats and 1 draw since then. Southampton somewhat stopping the rot with that 1-1 draw here the other Sunday, but they need a win. Hopefully today is going to be the day. A little run of actually 3 home games in 4 at the moment. Town, they've got Sheffield United here in just under a fortnight when the championship resumes after the latest international break. Here is Kayuste trying to get away from Brewster. He's done that, also beaten Travis. Lovely play from Kayuste, what his game is all about. Off to the left is Philogene, overlapping is Davis. Philogene's held on to the ball and gone back to Greaves. Davis is still high and wide. Greaves, nice ball in field to Matusiwa. Matusiwa to Chaplin, into the box, away from Hurst. Unlucky. It was a real shame. That would have been a lovely goal from Town if that one had come from that bit of play. Young throws the ball back infield to O'Shea. Gets it back off of Kayuste, the captain. O'Shea goes square to Greaves. Town passing it around nicely. Davis on this left-hand side. Derby have hardly touched the ball in the second half. Hurst inside the area. His touch takes it away from him, and then pings back off Hurst out for a goal kick to Derby.
Well, this is a better start in the second half than we had in the first half, purely and simply because we're actually so far, and it's only just sort of started, but we're starting to dictate the course of the game, whereas Derby, I felt early in the first half, dictated the course of the game.
Hopefully Town can go and kill off this game before we get to the 90th minute and beyond. Work to be done at the moment though. Bobby Clark through the middle towards Brewster. Flag has stayed down. It's a real chance for Brewster. Handball by Davis. Surely that hit Leif Davis's hand in the penalty area. The referee has pointed to the spot, has he? It clearly hit Leif Davis's hand, and it looks like the second week in a row Ipswich Town are going to have to face an opposition penalty.
Well, I think the referee indicated that it was ball to chest.
He did, didn't he, initially?
And I think this protest has just stopped the game. I don't think the referee's going to change his mind. I think it's just a heavy protest by Derby County players, but he immediately indicated ball to chest.
Well, Ryan Brewster celebrated,
and they're looking over at the linesman, and the linesman really seriously doesn't want to know. He's a long, long way away from it.
It's going to be a penalty to Derby.
Yeah, I think he has. He's changed his mind.
He has. Yeah. Would have been waiting for 10 minutes for this decision in the Premier League for VAR. Yeah, you can. Well, definitely 100% hit his hand. There's no debate over that. That's whether it was intentional. You can see why he's given it. If it was the other direction, we'd all be screaming out for an Ipswich Town penalty.
It was bad defending by us. We allowed the player to make the forward run, and Leif Davis probably was the guilty one for allowing the run to happen. It wasn't offside. That's what they tried to do.
4 minutes into the second half, after a fairly lengthy break, Carlton Morris has the ball against his right hip off to our right-hand side, trying to score for the fourth consecutive championship game at the start of this season and give Derby an equaliser at Portman Road. The former Norwich player being booed by the home crowd, puffs out his cheeks, tries to keep his focus, and hit the back of the net from 12 yards off to our right-hand side. And get Derby back into this game. The referee blows his whistle. Morris with this penalty for Derby, taking his time. Forward he comes and scores. Cool as you like, into the corner of the net. That is his fourth goal in as many games for the Rams at the start of this season, and we're 1-1 at Portman Road as Alex Palmer flings the ball away in disgust.
Well, the penalty in the end was a good penalty, but what a mess. Absolute mess. I mean, Leif Davis initially is guilty for allowing the run to be made across the pitch.
Town players are still protesting to the referee, and there's assistant on this near side. Not quite sure what this is all about, but 4 of them are speaking to the referee. Davis and Greaves really incensed, speaking to the man with the flag underneath us, and still conversations are going on, but it's 1-1.
Well, it's a waste of time now. I mean, Leif Davis needs to come back, come away from the officials. He's already had a go at this one over here. He's had a go at the referee there. Come away from it. You've been guilty of 2 mistakes, and you still want to. You're having a go at the 4th official now, Leif. Leave it alone.
Well, 2 players were booked in the first half for a lot less in terms of McAteer and Elder. 1-1 now on BBC Radio Suffolk. Town have got a man down off the ball. It's Philogene. He looks winded rather than it being a limb problem. Seems to be just holding his stomach. The referee's stopped play. And he's back up on his feet, Philogene. A bit messy at the moment as Kieran McKenna wanders back towards his seat down below us. We'll resume with the drop ball on halfway.
Been a crazy 5 minutes, really. We started the half nicely, and I actually mentioned it, and then all of a sudden we make this one mistake at the back, mess of a penalty, and now a little bit of a mess again.
Yeah. Penalties in 3 of Town's 4 championship games so far. Of course, Hurst with a goal at Birmingham, and then there was the one from Osmajic last week and Morris this week. O'Shea, crossfield ball. Sanderson, way too heavy chest touch. Derby get it from Brewster up towards Morris. Morris's layoff's terrible. Straight back to Chapman. That'll do nicely. Town trying to attack and regain the lead in this game. Matthew Seawer, poor pass from him. Good, poor clearance from Derby's perspective. Kept in by Matthew Seawer on the far touchline. Well, Derby have a foothold on this game, which they haven't deserved. Forward from Greaves to Davis, blocked off by Travis. They still firmly believe that Town will go on and win this game. It's not ideal, this. Kiyuste to Ashley Young, crossfield pass. Now it's with McAteer. Young once again has it. Chapman and Young playing kickball. 7.5 minutes gone in the second half on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Derby have equalised. Kiyuste to Matthew Seawer. Matthew Seawer to Hurst inside the area. Hurst with a chance goes down. What's the referee saying here? Nothing. He's going to give George Hurst a yellow for diving. Wow, controversial, because Clark certainly lunged into him. Well, it has to be said there aren't too many complaints from Ipswich Town players, so maybe Mr. Doughty's got that one right.
He's going to take Hurst's name. He's going to get the yellow card.
Well, poor from somebody, either poor from Hurst or poor from the referee. Well, tale of 2 penalty boxes and penalty shouts in the last few minutes. Kieran McKenna obviously really annoyed and frustrated. I must admit, when Clark stretched in, I thought it was going to be a penalty. As I say, I judge an awful lot on players' reactions, and there weren't too many went towards the referee there, if any.
Well, Clark's challenge is a rubbish one to start with, but I'm not sure that he actually impeded.
No, I don't think he did. The referee got that right. Real edge to this game all of a sudden. In flies Adams. Town player goes down Matthew Seawer. And again, Town players, a couple of them. Hurst wants to have a go at Adams. Chapman's telling him to walk away. Well, we did see some football for the first 5 minutes of the second half. The last 4 minutes, just we haven't seen any at all, really.
Well, the first 3 minutes, or the first 2 minutes.
Down. And now the referee wants a word
This is
with
unbelievable.
Adams for the challenge. Matthew was hobbling up, being held up by Chaplin. Adams is going to get a yellow. Well, he seemed to make contact with Hurst, but there was a little delay from Hurst before, a split-second delay. Interesting. Free kick to Ipswich in a central area. 1-1 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Not sure what's going to happen next in this game. Davis and Young, the 2 fullbacks, over this set piece. It's Young who takes it, rolls it along the floor to Philogene, knocks it into the area, good ball. Comes for Hurst! Oh, his header, he was open from 6 yards. Was straight at Zetterstrom. What an opportunity for the Scottish international to make it 2-1.
Well, that obviously was one that they've really worked on, and it worked an absolute treat. And the easiest thing was putting it in the back of the net.
We
had 3 players,
down,
3 players free over that ball.
I don't blame him for having the header the way it came to him, but no, because, like as Mick said, there was 2 blue shirts next to him. He could have actually chested it and banged it in from 5 yards. Back from Clark to Zetterstrom. He clears first time to the halfway. Greaves up against Brewster. Brewster, who won the penalty for Derby. Here is Philogene in the centre. As Mick said, it was one straight from the training ground. It's a good free kick from Town. Despite the fact it didn't go in, the rest of it worked an absolute treat. Here is O'Shea. Hit the post in the first half, remember, when it would have been 2-0. Greaves to Chaplin on the left-hand side. Davis infield to Chaplin. He's done well since he came back into the side this afternoon. Here's Matu Siwa on a good game in midfield. He gives it to O'Shea. O'Shea to the right. And McAteer outside the Derby area. Low ball into the box. Cleared away by Forsyth. Morris is after this one. O'Shea's quick and gets there ahead of him. It was a good sprint between those two. O'Shea then turns, plays it off Morris. Wins a good throw, and well done again by the captain.
Yeah, the captain won the race, and then he made it personal by trying to be clever. He just give it to his goalkeeper and just say, well done. You know, he's won the race, he's done the work. Then goalkeeper, don't try and be clever and get it passed in with a pass.
Ball up the line, in goes Forsyth. Forward the pass comes, headed infield by Morris to the edge of the Ipswich area. Kayuste twists his neck to head it away. Philogene brings it down well. Kayuste gives it away. In steps Sanderson for Derby. Back it goes to Matt Clark. Left-footed, he arrows the ball out to the far side. Cost Brighton £3.5 million from Portsmouth a few years ago. Matt Clark had a terrific spell at Portsmouth where he played alongside Connor Chaplin. Didn't really get the opportunities he would have wished for at Brighton. Derby ball on the far side. It's a free kick which will be taken by Forsyth after the challenge from Matu Siwa. Kieran McKenna sitting down looking at the two screens in front of him down below us. 12.5 minutes gone in the second half. It's 1-1 here, like it was against Southampton a couple of weeks ago. Town have got a very high line from this set piece. Brewster is miles the other side of it. On this free kick is Elder. Elder knocks it into the Ipswich town area. Greaves lets it go. Not quite sure why. Morris has the ball wide on the right-hand side for Derby. Pulls it back well to Lewis Travis. Travis, little ball down the right channel inside the area. Morris dinks it towards the far stick. Excellent play by Derby. A chance for Brewster. Hits it against O'Shea. That was travelling. Derby were a real threat. There's a clash of heads. The referee's got to stop play. He does. He's done exactly the right thing. Mr. Doughty on this occasion. It was decent from Derby.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, they got the ball back across there, and that was a real threat. It really was, you know. And they haven't sort of shown that they've got any finesse about them at all, but they did on that occasion, really. They've picked up a little bit of inspiration by the equalising goal. We've just got to settle down. We're without question the better team. We've just got to have the right approach, and it's keep calm. Keep passing the ball, keep moving. If you stand still, they'll hit you with a tackle. You know, you just got to keep that ball moving.
Considered 9 goals in their 3 championship games heading into this Derby County. Only 4 wins from their 23 away games last season. As Greaves gets the ball from Palmer and then goes back to the goalkeeper off to our right. Greaves once again inside of his penalty area, gives it to Davis. Derby pressing off to our right, cleared away by Greaves up towards Hurst. Matt Clark's holding on to him. Adams turns it back to Forsyth. Forsyth forward for Derby, looking towards Morris, hangs in the air well, brought down by Bobby Clark, tries to get into the area. Young is there, it's come off him for a corner kick. He's not happy with that, but Derby have got another corner kick.
Yeah, and we're guilty of not tracking down fully when a forward run has been made. We had the situation with the penalty with Leif Davis, and on this occasion they've won a corner kick because Matasua hasn't quite gone through with the marking of the player.
Johnston on this first corner kick of the second half for Derby, right back in this game at 1-1. Attacking the end off to our right in front of their fans, and it comes from Johnston. The back header from Matt Clark is eventually chased down by O'Shea near side, so Town can break out. He skips away from Travis, then goes across field towards Philogene, headed away by Bobby Clark, back covering for Derby. Ashley Young on the far side of the field has it for Ipswich. Ball down the line to Philogene on the right hand side at the moment. Philogene coming in field, edge of the box, little step over, gets the ball through to Kayuste. Clark blocked away, Philogene running forward. Travis gets on the loose ball, Kayuste flattens him. Free kick as Matu Siwa goes down again. Philogene on the deck inside the D. Free kick to Derby when things all settle down.
I think the referee would have rather have had another fixture, not this one. This is becoming a tough afternoon for him. It really is. I mean, I looked at the amount of tackles that Derby had made in the first half. It was 11, definite tackles, and they had won 70-odd% of them, so, and that did hit me. I thought they really do make tough challenges and good challenges, and they've continued it through this half as well. And if there's a ball there to be won, they go for it, hell for leather.
Zetterstrom is down. For me, this is surely a tactical injury break, almost predetermined to give John Eustace a bit of time with his team in the 62nd minute. I can't believe there's too much wrong with the Swede getting some treatment, but of course it's given Ipswich Town the opportunity, Kieran McKenna, to get his players across on the near side, albeit he's allowing his coaching staff, of which there are plenty, to speak to the boys in blue rather than McKenna himself, who is now out on the edge of his technical area down below us. 1-0 to Town at half-time, but then a penalty given away by a handball from Leif Davis has got Derby back into this one. Morris scoring from the spot. 62 now gone at Portman Road. Darragh O'Shea talking to the referee in the D off to our left-hand side. Play about to resume. Zetterstrom, funnily enough, is okay to continue. Jack Clark, maybe signs of him coming on. He's readying himself near side. Ipswich Town have also think about Chuba Akpom out there. Jack Taylor having a reunion with his former Peterborough colleague Joe Ward on this near side. Actually, Caden Jackson there as well, having a chat to Jack Taylor now. I imagine we'll see something of Caden at some stage. Started for Derby in the Cup in the week, has been coming off the bench in league games. Matusiwa wins a header. On the centre spot now is Sanderson. Switches back to the far side, and Elder, he's clattered into McAteer. Both players have gone down holding their heads, so again play will have to halt as two of the medical staff from both benches run onto the field. We're just seeing so little football at the moment, Mick, aren't we?
Yeah, and that was a little bit naughty. They when the ball's on the ground, if there's a challenge to be made, they go for it, the Derby County boys, and even in the air, they're a little bit kamikaze in the air as well. They just seem to go for the 50-50 in the air, with such feeling and ferocity. I haven't seen anything like this for a long time. I really haven't, So the manager, without question, the Derby manager has got his boys fired up. There's no question about it. But if we can just settle down and realise where our spare players are, and they're down the wide areas, get the ball out wide, stretch this Derby County team apart, and we'll have a really good chance to win the game.
Both players fine, no surprise. Elder and McAteer coming on. Chuba Akpom is about to make his home debut for Ipswich Town. Once the referee decides exactly what he's going to do now, seems to be a bit of confusion. It's going to be an unchallenged drop ball, I think, that Derby are going to take on in the shape of Lewis Travis. It kind of played down the left-hand side, replaced Philogene last week. Akpom could do that again, although I guess we might see him through the middle instead of Hurst. Forward from Travis, headed away by Young off the edge of the Ipswich area. Kiyuste gets there, nods the ball on beyond Travis to Philogene. Philogene with too heavy a touch. Derby win it back. Johnston to Brewster. Brewster into the box, looking for Morris, too far in front of him. Morris generously puts the thumbs up to his strike partner, but thankfully for Town, it's out far side.
Well, I'm glad he actually chose to cross the ball, because this was a definite 2v1 down the sides, and they would have been well into our penalty area down the right-hand side if he had decided to pass the ball to his colleague.
This type of game suits Derby more than it does Ipswich Town, as does the scoreline. Town need to go on and win this game, really. At least they have options from the bench, Ipswich, in an attacking sense, which they didn't have not that long ago. Hurst robs Matt Clark really well. Forward towards McAteer. McAteer eventually gets on the ball. Casey McAteer inside the Derby area, cuts in field, touched away from him in the end by Forsyth. Good defending. As Derby feared a former Leicester player scoring against them. Young wins ahead of far side, that's nodded forward by Elder. Elder is back on the ball. In goes Young. Out goes the ball. Lower tier far side. It's going to be another throw to Derby County. Kieran McKenna's thoughts to come post-match on BBC Radio Suffolk. You can also have your say 0800 141 2121. Smodix is coming on as well for Town. So wholesale changes imminent. 81333. Start the text SFK if you want to get in touch that way. Or WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start those SFK as well. Kayuste tripped in midfield. It's going to be another free kick and possibly another Derby player going in the book. Again, Town players surround the referee. Done that a bit too often for me. Don't like to see it. Let's go back to Graham at 1-1.
Watford level against Southampton 1-1. Wrexham ahead at Millwall. Kiefer Moore again.
Wow, it's had a good start to the season. Kiefer Moore. Something else for the referee to sort out. This is such a poor spectacle at the moment, it has to be said.
Very much so, but they've been very heavy-handed with our central midfield pair as well. You know, Kajust and Matisua. You know, they've just been. There's one of them that's Kajust still sort of sat on the ground now from the challenge, which was probably about a minute ago.
Yeah, yellow card for Lewis Travis. Houston doesn't seem to be accepting the apology from Travis. Akpom, Clark and Smodix all finally ready to enter the fray. And if we will see either Ivan Azon or Darnell Furlong at some stage. Chaplin is one of those going off. He'll be replaced by Smodix. Off he comes. He's done well as return to the side. I'm biased. I'm unashamedly a massive fan of Connor Chaplin and what he's got to offer. He sprints off to be replaced by Smodix. Towner also taking off Casey McAteer to be replaced by Jack Clark, and George Hurst goes off to be replaced by Chuba Akpom, his home debut on loan from Ajax. And unlike last week, he's obviously going to play through the middle, the former Middlesbrough player. O'Shea stood over this free kick, gives it square to Greaves, whose first half goal set Ipswich Town on their way, but pegged back 1-1. Morris with a penalty. There'll be a lot of added on time at the end of this game, the way things are gone at the moment. Headed out by Johnston for a throw to Ipswich, which Leif Davis is going to leave to Kayuste. Kayuste tucks the white ball under his blue shirt, getting ready to throw this ball into the Derby penalty area off to our left-hand side as Town try to regain the lead, and it comes a long way from Kayuste, cleared away by Johnston, and as far as Young. Young knocks the ball back into the Derby area, bounces Zetterstrom, takes it, backpedaling a couple of yards off of his line.
Yeah, the three changes. Clark has come over on the left-hand side and Philogene has gone over to the right-hand side, and apart from that, it's pretty much 1-for-1.
Crochet with a chest trap. Didn't work out well. Brewster coming forward. Brewster inside the area. Chance for 2-1. Derby lead. Poor defending from Ipswich Town. And this is nowhere near good enough. 21 minutes to go. And all of a sudden, Derby County lead 2-1 at Portman Road. Both of their front two have now scored.
Yeah, and he had no right to get through the middle like that, but there was every suggestion he was going to be successful because we weren't decisive enough. We were allowing him to sort of get on the ball. He had good control of the ball. It was a great surging run, and he was very strong and very committed in doing it, and his finish was good. But we've allowed them to go through the heart of our defence. You know, we've got three players within 10 yards of each other, and we don't do it at all. I mean, again, it's one of our fullbacks again. Ashley Young is sort of thinking, is he offside? Should I play him offside? He hasn't got him offside. So we've had Leif Davis doing it with the first goal. We've had Ashley Young doing it with the second goal. That's not good enough from our fullback pairing.
Nor is 2-1 Derby with 20 minutes to go, which is probably going to be half an hour, or close to half an hour anyway. It's going to be a massive number on the board. Kieran McKenna, a penny for his thoughts, or will get them after full time. Back the ball goes to O'Shea. Town 1-0 up at half-time against the Derby side, who I thought were awful in that first half, offered very little, and now 2-1 ahead. Beyond their wildest dreams, this scoreline. Here is Young. Still enough time, of course, for Town to get back in and win this game. Philogene playing on the right-hand side. High ball into the area, headed away by Sanderson. Not very far, cleared into the clouds by Adams. Town battle for the ball. Does look like Philogene's gone to the right, Clark to the left, even though they've been playing on opposite sides pre-season since those changes were made. Young, ball into the box towards Matusiwa. Back heels it up in the air. Akpom challenges, headed away by Sanderson as far as Philogene. Brings it down. Derby bring it away through Adams. Another break in play, because there's another head injury, this time to Forsyth. Never knows what time this game is going to finish this afternoon.
Very difficult game to referee, I think. You know, they probably... You would see this type of game years and years ago without question, but you don't see it very often nowadays, and obviously the referees are not used to dealing with this type of game, and it's proving very difficult for him.
He stayed down for Forsyth, as you would expect him to. I obviously wish him well. Kiyuste's come across to the near side to have a drink. Kieran McKenna watching on, just wipes his forehead and then scratches the top of his head, Kieran, as he speaks to Leif Davis. Unbelievable. Is this going to be a 10th defeat in 11 at home for Ipswich Town? And are we going to be heading into that game against the Sheffield United in a couple of weeks' time, wondering if this is when they're finally going to get that first home win? Hopefully, in the remainder of this game, Town can turn this one around. It seems to be the most serious of the head injuries that we've had so far, this one for Craig Forsyth. Derby just treating him, thankfully, now sitting up, which is good to see. Leif Davis came across and is now talking to Dara O'Shea, having listened to a few words from his manager. Lewis Travis being beckoned over. Derby probably can't believe they're in this position, Mick.
No, the only thing I would say that if you were the manager of this Derby County team, you would be delighted with the amount of effort that his players have put in for him. You know, they have been so committed today. You know, from the kickoff, it's been incredible. You know, I've not seen a team actually play so physical as this for a long time. They're not very pretty to watch. I thought that we had handled it in the first half. We started indifferently, but we slowly but surely got through it, got ourselves a goal in front, and then I thought that would have been pretty much job done then. And I thought that when I'm talking about a start, I'm talking about 2 or 3 minutes in the start of the second half. I thought, hello, we look as if we now know exactly what we've got to do. But then all of a sudden, you know, they've got themselves the equaliser from the penalty, and they look very, very much up for this now.
Fans got really incensed then, because I think I mentioned that thankfully Forsyth was sitting up, but then he went and lay back down again, and they were furious, and that sparked Ashley Young and Dara O'Shea to run half the length of Portman Road to talk to the referee about it. Forsyth's finally up on his feet, obviously getting no sympathy whatsoever. Getting a lot of stick from the cobbled stand far side, and hopefully at some point in the next 10 seconds we might see some more football again at Portman Road. It's been few and far between since the teams came back out of the tunnel just after 4 o'clock. Derby with 2 goals since then, if you're just rejoining us since the interval. Morris with a penalty, then Brewster with the 3rd goal of the game to put them 2-1 up. Took it well, Brewster. First goal up for Derby County. Clark for Ipswich in the middle of the field. Brought down, was he, by Bobby Clark. Looks like it. Yellow card for the Derby number 42. It does make me feel very old this afternoon, Bobby Clark, seeing as I played against his dad, Lee Clark, at school many moons ago. Lee, of course, who went on to have a good career at Newcastle and Fulham. Bobby now playing for Derby on loan from Salzburg, given away by Clark. The ground goes Kiyuste. Now on the left-hand side here is Davis into the centre of the park. It's with Dara O'Shea. Ashley Young on the far side into the final 15 minutes of the 90, but we've got a lot more than a quarter of an hour still to go. Young to Smodix, and Town might need that extended game time to get something from it. Greaves to Clark on the left. Infield he comes, gets away from a couple of players, but goes square rather than forward. Picks out a pass to Young on the far side. He bends the ball out towards Philogene. Kieran McKenna still has 2 subs up his sleeve. Philogene on the right-hand side, trying to find room for a cross, flanked by Clark and Elder. Wins a corner, at least for Ipswich Town, their first of the second half.
Well, that's okay. There was no sort of way he was going to get around those two. They had doubled up on him and he wasn't going to get by them, so his winning the corner is good enough.
Taylor coming on, possibly for Kayuste. Corner kick to Ipswich Town. Leif Davis to take it in the sunshine. 2-1 Derby towards the near post. Headed down and belted away by Brewster. The ball's in the Ipswich Town half of the field, so we're not going to see both Azon and Furlong for debuts. Might see one of them though. Taylor is about to be on the 4th change for Ipswich before he heads off on international duty. Long forward from Palmer. Header on from O'Shea. To the left-hand side, Akpom. We need him in the centre. Clark comes in field. Clark stands on the ball, directs it back to the left, and Davis leaves it for Greaves. Greaves is crossed towards the far post, is caught by Zetterstrom, and he holds on to the ball as long as possible. Kicked from Zetterstrom towards Matusiwa. He wins the header ahead of Morris. There is Travis taking the ball in his chest. Clark's all over him. Travis still battling for the ball. Wins a free kick, then goes down, holds the base of his back. Town can make the change. It is Kayuste who's going off to be replaced by the industry of Taylor. Good round of applause for Kayuste, very popular player at Portman Road. Darnell Furlong just jogging back towards the bench. A couple of changes for Derby. Caden Jackson, one of them, and David Ozo, a midfielder on loan from Crystal Palace again for a second spell there. Another. Goodness me, he's a big strong boy, the 20-year-old Ozo. Jackson just listening to John Eustace's assistant. Here goes Zetterstrom with this free kick for Derby. 12 minutes of normal time to go on BBC Radio Suffolk. Matusiwa is down off the ball after a collision involving Morris.
They've made a bit of a beeline for Matusiwa. For some reason, I don't know what's happened out there, but they've really sort of hell-bent on giving him some grief.
Taylor almost caught on the ball, gets it back from to O'Shea, who finds Palmer. There is Greaves to Matusiwa. Goes back to Alex Palmer in the penalty area, off to our right-hand side. Goodness me, at the start of the season, it was unthinkable for Ipswich Town to get to the international break without a win, or with 2 points from 12. That's the state of play at the moment. Still, obviously, time. Matt Clark at the back finds his goalkeeper, Zetterstrom. Zetterstrom clears for Derby as far as Leif Davis is concerned. Into the penalty area, off to our right. He gives it to Palmer. Palmer goes out short to Taylor. Taylor, of course, has been playing a lot of football with Matusiwa in recent times. They know each other pretty well. Here is Taylor once again to Greaves. Town haven't crossed halfway just yet. They now do. The 2 Derby subs primed underneath us as Greaves carries the ball a distance to Clark. Clark comes in field, gets away from a couple of players, might think of hitting it, tried to lay it off. Headed away by Derby. Poor header by Elder inside his area. Matt Clark nods it away for Derby. He cleared his lines a bit better than a couple of those before him had. Davis to Clark. Clark prods it back to O'Shea. Young, Town with plenty of the ball, as you would expect. Have it far side there right with Philogene. Hasn't crossed just yet. Held on to it still, Philogene, the number 11. Got himself boxed off in the corner and eventually takes the ball out of play for it through to Derby County.
Yeah, he's just sort of making it a little bit personal there. That's easy. What's easy there is just there's nowhere to go. Just roll the ball back to Ashley Young and let him put the ball in from a different angle.
Lewis Travis is going off. He can be pleased with his performance in his Derby debut. Not getting a whole lot of love from the Town fans, despite having helped them get promoted to the Premier League. And the other change is the match winner as things stand. Rhian Brewster is going off to be replaced by Caden Jackson. Obviously, going off very, very slowly, Travis and Brewster. No surprise in that. It's all part of it. Still a break in play for this Derby throw-in over in the very far left corner. So on come Ozo and Jackson just finally for Derby County. Nice touch. Round of applause for Caden Jackson, and amongst everything else, classy from the Ipswich Town fan base, because they're clearly not happy with the way the second half has gone on any level. But they've put that to one side for a second and welcomed back their former striker. Played a part, of course, in both promotions from League One to the Championship, and then the Championship to the Premier League. Caden Jackson, 6 years an Ipswich Town player. Play back underway. Tanovic in the centre with O'Shea. They're 2-1 behind on BBC Radio Suffolk. Greaves to the left-hand side. Clark in field to Davis. Not good enough. Ozo steps on the ball. Forward he strides into trouble. Matusiwa gives it to Taylor. Leif Davis has stayed down for Ipswich Town. Taylor's on the left-hand side with the ball now. Eventually couldn't do much more with it. Jackson has it for Derby. Picks out a good pass at the centre to Clark. Clark tries to wriggle away from Young, which he's managed to do. Gets it out to the right-hand side. Jackson challenges Davis. The ball squirts back to Greaves. 8 minutes plus a lot of added-on time to go. Schmodix on the right wing for Ipswich. Leaves it to Young, far side. Young totally misplays that pass. Straight into touch. That was a weird one.
Yeah, it was a weird one. Caden Jackson's only been on for about a minute, and he's just tried to sort of go in very heavily on Leif Davis, so even Caden Jackson is becoming a tackler.
199 appearances for Ipswich Town, 28 goals for Caden in his spell here. Akpom, as the ball is hooked back by Adams to his goalkeeper Zetterstrom. He hits it cleanly, straight downfield at the first opportunity. O'Shea heads it back to his goalkeeper. The Blue Hour back on air on Monday between 6 and 7 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Email me your thoughts ahead of that one. brenner@bbc.co.uk. Taylor gives the ball to Schmodix. Schmodix with a cross field looking for Davis. It's probably going to go up behind. Yes, it does. Just been doing that programme just over a year now, and we've been able to celebrate on a Monday 2 Ipswich Town League victories in that time, because a couple of the others were then preceded by another game, like Chelsea was preceded by the draw at Fulham, so we didn't get the chance to celebrate the Chelsea game. But yeah, when I look back a couple of weeks ago when it was the first anniversary, we've had 2 celebratory Mondays in that first year of the programme. I had high hopes this would be a third one in 48 hours time, and it might still be. Certainly not giving up on this Ipswich Town team with the attacking players out there, but at the moment it's Derby in possession. Forward it comes from Adams. Out of play for the throw to Ipswich. 6 minutes to go in this second half, which has been awful to watch, really. Sanderson shoves Clark to the floor. Just the nature of it, no real criticism of Town at all. Yellow card for Sanderson. A heck of a lot of loan spells at this level down the years, and Derby going to make another change by the looks of things, as even Azon might be coming on for his Ipswich Town debut. Yes, he is going to come on, and why not? Let's go back to Graham at 2-1 Derby.
A couple more goals at Vicarage Road, from 1-1 to 2-2 between Watford and Southampton. Swansea now 2 up at Sheffield Wednesday. Oxford level again against Coventry, 2-2. At Bristol City 4, Hull 1.
Clark to Davis. Davis outside the area. In comes his left-footed cross right across the box towards Philogene. Brings it down inside the area. Might be outnumbered. Matusiwa with a shot, but it was always going away from the goal. And there are 2 more Derby players down. One just with cramp, and another down on his knees holding his face. With a 22-year-old Spaniard, Ivan Azon, who was on loan from Italian side Como for the season, is about to make his Ipswich Town debut. The number 31, it's just got Ivan above the number. Strong lad. Kieran McKenna says he'll have no problems with the physicality of the Championship. He's going to get an opportunity to really make a name for himself in this final 5 minutes plus. Gets a handshake and a hug from Kieran McKenna as he gets ready to come on.
I'm just wondering why Kieran McKenna is calling loads of players over here. I don't know what sort of message he's trying to get on, but he was particularly keen to talk to Jack Taylor and pass something on through him.
Leif Davis has gone off and been replaced by Ivan Azon. Jack Clark seems to be drifting into the left back area as and when required. Headed on by Derby on the far side, stretching to get a hold of it's Philogene. Rare 90 minutes for Jaden Philogene in a town shirt. Bobby Clark has been clipped, free kick, given away by Azor Matusiwa, whose reaction would have earned him a yellow card in the first half, but I think he's going to get away with it now. Clark is on all fours, far side. This has been a terrible 41 minutes in terms of a spectacle to look at. And as I said, it's not been critical of Town or necessarily, it's just the way it's rolled this second half of football.
I just think they've been too aggressive for us, and we haven't really liked it, to be quite honest. We haven't responded to it in any sort of way, you know. They were fortunate a little bit with the penalty, but...
TV cameras are zoomed in on Marcelino Nunez down below, still sporting his Ipswich Town scarf, which is good to see. Free kick for Derby. Elder puts it to the edge of the Ipswich area, headed down by Matt Clark. His namesake Bobby has a go, and that wasn't too far away. When it came to him, I imagined that being ballooned into the crowd, but far from it. It kind of bounced near Palmer's right-hand post, and not 100% you'd have had that covered.
Yeah, I think he just sort of hit the shot into the ground and didn't sort of come up very high.
Taylor running with the ball. Yeah, it was a miss-hit from Bobby Clark. It would have been a very lucky goal from Derby's perspective. They don't need another goal to win this game. They're ahead with 2.5 minutes to play. Here's Azor Matusiwa up towards Azon. Azon lays it back to Taylor, making a run in behind. Smodix has the ball, goes towards Clark. Clark drifting infield, trying to get away from Jackson, which he's done. Then he flicks the ball off the outside of his right boot to Young, coming forward to Matusiwa, stretches, can't get on it. Bobby Clark comes back and does some decent defensive work for Derby. Akpom, who's gone out to the right-hand side momentarily, gets it back to O'Shea. Now it's with Akpom. Chuba Akpom, edge of the area, has a goal! Oh, it was just over the top. Decent hit off his left boot as well. Zetterstrom was clawing at air.
It was a good shot, decent shot. It was just a shame it just sort of lifted up and went over the crossbar, but for a moment it looked as if it was on target.
Not quite sure yet whether Town are playing with the front two of Akpom and Azon. Certainly got attacking players out there in Smodix, Clark, although he's checking his rear view mirror, Jack Clark, in terms of his now left back duties. Philogene, so the two obvious strikers, one of them Azon's after this ball. Forsyth hits it forward. Of course there's another blow of his whistle. That whistle's had some action in the second half. O'Shea to Matusiwa into the centre circle, gives it forward to Akpom, out to the left hand side. Clark has it with his pink boots on. Caden Jackson's back for Derby. Clark plays it infield to Matusiwa, helps on its way to O'Shea, out to the right hand side is Young. Blue shirts coming forward, attacking the goal off to our right-hand side. Philogene, infield to Matusiwa, jabs it back to Philogene. Final minute of the 90. Philogene shaped to cross. Has it back with Young. Young, little ball into the box, looking for Smodix. Smodix keeps the ball in by the byline. Derby have everyone back, as you would expect, in and around that penalty area. Philogene crosses left-footed, a high one. Greaves is after this one. Headed away not very far by the Derby defender Johnston. Greaves still has it on the left wing, gives it back to Clark. He's done well. Clark runs with the ball, comes in field, has a go, but it's way off target from Clark. As Derby prepare to bring on the experienced target man, Andreas Weimann.
Well, Clark is really good at doing that. Sort of drops his left shoulder, goes to his right and comes inside, but that is a very, very poor finish.
Didn't get his foot around the ball at all. Well, thank heavens Town have brought in all those players in the last 48 hours, because the negativity will be at a different level off the scale if this scoreline stays as it is. 13 minutes of added on time. Must be close to a record here at Portman Road. I thought it would be extensive. Bobby Clark goes off, replaced by Andreas Weimann. Well, there's certainly time for Town to go on and win this. Got to do a bit more than they've shown so far. Climbing up the crowd again. You can hear their reaction to 13 minutes of added on time.
Well, I remember last 2 seasons ago when we played over 100 minutes at Coventry, which I thought was quite remarkable, but this is going to be that night, so this is incredible. This is going to be like 115 minutes in the end.
Yeah, it sums up this game what it's had. The second half anyway, and now we've got a break in the first minute of the added on 13.
Why not?
Elder is staying down. There's some silliness. Young and Ebu Adams having a little bit of a shove of each other's chest on the far side of the field. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Ipswich Town trailing 2-1 to Derby County. Not many of us, myself included, would have ever predicted this scoreline. Certainly not after the first half. Again, the referee, once again, not for the umpteenth time really, chatting to the two captains, O'Shea and Adams. Going to be a very, very late finish to this one. Can Ipswich Town get a late equaliser at least? It's going out to be very, very interesting. In terms of maybe kicking on, there's certainly time. Throw down the far side by Forsyth. Not the ball that Derby wanted to see anyway. Jackson's trying to hurry Jacob Greaves into an error. Wins a throw in at least. Caden Jackson over in the far right corner for Ipswich Town as Kieran McKenna sits down once more. Derby with a throw in underneath their supporters. Goes short towards Morris, who's battling illegally with Ashley Young. Free kick for Town, which Young is going to leave for Palmer to take. No, it's only a throw-in the end. He thought it was a free kick, Ashley Young. Throw-in to him nonetheless. 2 minutes into the added-on 13 minimum. All poor from Ashley Young. His ball in field was reached by Jackson. Byman inside the area, bustling his way through. Maybe a chance for Jackson. That was shocking from Ipswich Town, given away by Young. Looked like a handball from Ozu, cleared by Taylor. As on battling with Sanderson. Had a play for a throw to Derby off of the Spaniard. The referee's going to get a lot of stick off the back of this game, but I don't know about his performance.
It's been a difficult one.
It has been, hasn't it? You're spot on. It has. I've got a lot of sympathy for him, really. But it'll all be down to him, obviously, the result. Jackson battling for it, cleared away by Jack Clark. Philogene, what can he do? Held up. Taylor bypasses the referee with the ball to Young. On the far side, Akpom. Akpom back in field to O'Shea. Town buzzing around. Forward comes Greaves. It's such a long time since his first goal of the afternoon. Smodix goes down. Play continues. On the left-hand side, Clark ball into the box to Greaves. Greaves into the middle. Blocked away by Sanderson. Cleared by Jackson. Derby about to make another change by the looks of things. Town with O'Shea to the left and Clark. Ipswich looking for an equaliser, trailing 2-1. Clark, edge of the area, comes in field again, thinking about the shot, still has it. Clark gives it back towards Young. Young picks out Greaves. No, he can't. Greaves stretches and how to play it goes, which will allow Derby to bring on Nyambe, who's a right fullback or right wing back, the former Blackburn player.
Well, that was really untidy from Town, it really was. So we didn't seem to know where we were going to go with that. You know, we just could have progressed down the left-hand side and just get the cross in ultimately.
It's going to be Johnston going off. And he will be replaced by Nyambe, like for like. I think the Derby going to bring on Danny Bart as well, by the looks of things. He seems to have been sent back, as many people know he's a strong centre-half, former Wolves and Sunderland player, bags of championship experience, but had a loan spell at Colchester very early on in his career from Molineux. He's going to come on and sit somewhere in and around the central defensive area for Derby. And just waiting to see who he's going to replace. And number 4. Callum Elder.
Well, he won't play out there, that's for sure. He'll be more central, won't he?
Yeah, he certainly will. 5.5 minutes gone of the added on 13. 13. I think we've got a lot more than 7.5 still to go because of the way this 5.5's gone. Just terrible this has been since 4 o'clock. It really has. So little quality. Matusiwa heads it, nodded down by Azon. As I said earlier on, heaven knows what he and Egli in particular have made of this afternoon. Watching on for the most part. Adams towards Ozo, over halfway from Taylor. Sanderson goes over the top of Azon, hits him with his elbow. Azon has stayed down holding his face. Sanderson's on a yellow card. I don't think it's going to be a second one. And to give him his due, Azon has got up and not made an awful lot of it, but that was a clumsy challenge that some players really would have milked. That's very much a welcome to the championship though for Ivan Azon.
Well, I don't think they're playing another game like this anyway, so this is an awful game for your starter, but it'll get better.
Clark running forward into trouble and then takes out Adams, who's gone down as well. Told to get up by the referee, good refereeing. O'Shea towards Matusiwa, Town trail 2-1, into the box towards Smodics, stretching rather behind himself. Smodics is still on the ball, being held up by Sanderson. He's done well, back to Greaves. Greaves with the first time cross into the middle, headed up by Matt Clark, still inside the Derby box. Taylor challenges, cleared away by Derby under all sorts of pressure. Pillaging shoots, but players are already being halted for a foul on the edge of the Derby area, so it's a free kick to them.
What an introduction for some of our boys.
I know, isn't it just?
We're going to have to take them to one side after the game and say, seriously, it's not always like this.
Yeah, that really is what they need to know. Oh, otherwise they might be asking if the contract was signed in Penson. Here is Zetterstrom, 97.5 minutes played in this game. Ferrell, while still to go. If you want this earlier on, 13 was on the board. Of course, that's a minimum. If the referees this properly and can take any more of this game, he'll go beyond the 103rd minute. Paul from Matusiwa. Here is Caden Jackson for Derby. Tidy, back towards the ponytailed Ozo. Sanderson drops a shoulder, goes away from a couple of Town players, then clips it down the line. Greaves is going to go after that. Vyman's on a chase, but even though Greaves has been on the field since 3 o'clock, he was always going to win that race against the ageing Vyman. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Town 1, Derby 2. I'd say you were getting value for your licence fee given how long this game has gone on, but you're not really in terms of quality. Here is Taylor behind O'Shea on the centre spot. People all around them just shake their heads. O'Shea to Matusiwa, to Greaves on the left-hand side. Surely Town can fashion one more chance. Not on this occasion. Derby obviously with 10 white shirts behind the ball. Matusiwa looks drained, still has it, goes square towards O'Shea. Now with Ashley Young. 9 minutes played and added on time. His attempted cross, Philogines that is, hits the backside of Forsyth and goes out. Terrific win this for Derby. It really would be if they can hold on. Old blow for Ipswich Town, even early in the season. Young goes back to Matusiwa, edge of the area, spinning, trying to get in the box, cleared away by Derby. Morris can't control it well enough. Young crosses into the Derby area, kneed away by Sanderson, then belted long by Adams, all the way back to Palmer, who controls it inside his own half. Here is Clark. 10 minutes of added on time played. Don't know if the scoreboard on the left can cope with 3 digits, 100 minutes. We'll see soon. Greaves on the left, outside the Derby box. In comes his cross, headed up and away by the defender inside the area. As far as Philogine, nice control by Philogine. Philogine shoots terribly. Goodness gracious me, that was closer to the corner flag than the goal off to our left-hand side.
A dreadful shot, really, really poor. You know, we have really sort of huffed and puffed. We had lots of minutes to play, you know, when that extra time came up. They're slowly but surely evaporating now, and we haven't really, in that period of time, created a chance.
And Voila Egeli has just got out of his seat and walked off. I'm sure he's not disappeared early, maybe stayed until the very end, but Couldn't blame him if he had a little wander early doors. There are still 2.5 minutes of the added on 13 to go. A lot of people are disappearing off early, giving up on Ipswich Town getting a late equaliser. Here is O'Shea to the centre circle and Taylor. Greaves on the left gives it to Clark. Clark crosses. Flick on header by Akpom, maybe a chance for Ivan, couldn't set himself. Oh, I thought that was going to be his moment. Cleared away as far on the far side as Young's cross is headed away by Matt Clark. Glancing header down by O'Shea as he and Matasiwa went for the same ball. 101 minutes played at Portman Road. Town looking for an equaliser. Adams challenges Taylor illegally. It's a free kick to Ipswich Town, and finally last chance to get something from this game, perhaps.
Well, you would think this is our little chance. Good angle on the free kick.
It'll be one of the latest goals seen in a 90-minute game here at Portman Road. If Town can get an equaliser, they're 2-1 down at home to Derby. We're in the 102nd minute of this match. 13 added on minutes minimum set to be played. Ashley Young on this free kick for Ipswich Town, around about 29 yards from goal. We know he has quality. Can he pick out a blue shirt off to our right-hand side and give Ipswich Town at least a share of the spoils? Otherwise it's yet another home defeat. Young knocks it into the box, looks a good ball, Greaves is underneath it, across the face of goal, headed away as far as Clark, his effort blocked by Adams, out wide for a throw to Ipswich Town.
Well, it was a wonderful ball in, exactly what you needed. We had
Clark crosses into the Derby box beyond the far stick, hooked back in by O'Shea, out of a Derby player. Town have got a corner kick. Alex Palmer looks at Kieran McKenna. He's going to go up for it. Wow. In the 13th minute of added on time, Alex Palmer, the Ipswich Town goalkeeper, has made his way the length of the pitch into the box off to our left-hand side. Needs must. Surely a final chance for Ipswich Town to get something out of this game. Young with the corner kick. Everyone forward, including the goalkeeper, and it comes from Young. Looks decent, hasn't been cleared away just yet. Eventually it is by Morris. No threat of a counter-attack. Town get those back. Matasiwa is there as Palmer jogs back towards his own penalty area. Young knocks the ball into the Derby box, headed away by Matt Clark. The Derby fans are whistling, desperate to hear the proper full-time whistle go by the referee. We're into the 14th minute of added on time, which is correct. Left-footed forward by Young into the box towards Azon. Might be a chance for Taylor. Taylor goes down inside the box. Smollett with a shot. The referee's pointed to the spot. Town have won a penalty kick in the 104th minute of this match. And an opportunity to draw level at 2-2. What drama live on BBC Radio Suffolk. The referee's waving away the Derby players. Well, Hurst's off the field, there's no Chaplin on the field. Clark has the ball at the moment, and he fancies it. I wondered whether Akpom might step forward. Probably a step too far for Azon in his first ever appearance in English football.
Well,
yellow card for Carlton Morris for being a little bit silly. O'Shea's trying to take him away from things.
I've seen a replay twice. It looks as if it was a bit of a dive.
Ooh, interesting one. Well, those people that left early are hopefully about to hear a big roar as they get into their cars in and around Portman Road or make their way towards the railway station. In the 15th minute of added on time, Jack Clark from the penalty spot has a chance to make it 2-2. The referee finally calming things down. Hopefully it's nice and calm between the ears of the former Sunderland winger. It's Clark against Zetterstrom. Forward comes the 47 and scores! And then gets the ball and sprints back to the halfway line, believing that Ipswich Town can get possibly the latest ever winner at Portman Road.
Well, it's a lovely penalty in the end. Beautifully struck, high, just where you want it, really. Great strike.
Well, looking like being a month of draws, 3 of them for Ipswich Town. How long is he going to play, the referee? On we go. Play that to the far side by Derby. 106 minutes played in this game. Adams to Matt Clark. He knocks it long for Derby, too long towards Alex Palmer. The crowd still believing that Town can go on and win this match in the 107th minute. Now, Matisiwa towards Akpom. Now it's with Jacob Greaves. John Eustace jumping up and down near side. Akpom towards Young. That could be that. The referee's blown his whistle and pointed the spot. It's all over. Ipswich Town have rescued a point right at the very death, drawing 2-2 with Derby County. So, still without a league win at Portman Road in 2025, and still without a win anywhere this season, heading into the first international break of the campaign. And they've only taken 3 points from the 12 available so far. Much work to be done over the course of the next 13 days before Sheffield United come here. And Ipswich Town need to improve as the season goes on.
Yeah, without question. How the game's finished, you know, your tendency is to think, well done, Town. You know, you've got back into it. You've got yourself a point. But, you know, when everything settles down, you know, this has been a poor performance. It's been a poor result. And as you say, Brennan, there's a lot of work to be done, you know, and we haven't taken advantage of what on paper, and I'm saying on paper, was a kind fixture. The type of fixture you need when things haven't been going your way at the start of the season. A lot of new faces are coming in. You know that probably in the next 48 hours there'll be people leaving the dressing room, people that have been a big part of that dressing room, if you like, you know, so there's all those changes. Then you go into an international fortnight and loads of the players are be travelling all over the world, and it's one of those situations that you just want to have a good result to go into that period of time, and then when everybody returns, you're hopefully ready to take on the next fixture. But this didn't work out right for Town, and I think basically Derby County played a very, very aggressive game, the type of game I haven't seen for, you know, 20, 30 years, if you like, you know, even maybe longer than that. But they were committed, really, really committed, with winning the ball when it was on the ground, winning the ball when it was in the air. When they lost it, they got right back behind the ball, made it really difficult for Town to play their way through. And to be honest, we feel that we might have weathered the storm early in the game and got ourselves in charge of the game, but I wasn't that confident that we were ever really truly in charge of it. And Derby continued to do it through the second half. I mean, how the manager has got them to commit themselves like they have this afternoon, I do not know. But they'll probably have to unplug them when they get in the dressing room, because they've been highly charged up. They really have, you know, and this didn't suit Town. They didn't like it. They didn't like the physical side. They didn't like the direct side. And there was a lot of disjointedness about it. I'm just glad that we've got to this point now, and, you know, we can get to work on the training ground. Kieran McKenna now has got to decide. Again, I would say it this way, he's got to decide what his best 11 is. He can work with everybody else, but he's got to, in his own mind, know exactly what his best 11 is. And the sooner he knows that, the better we will be. He's good enough to coach the team out of this situation, but I still firmly believe that at every football club in the country, in the world, no matter how many players you've got in the dressing room, there is a best 11. And you have to get to grips with that and you have to work on that to have success.
It's a real standoff between Ashley Young and Ebu Adams that went on for a long old time. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. The referee stand and their security as well. One or two players in the end had to kind of part the two of them at the end of that very much extended luxury 12-inch remix of an afternoon. That was a poor old second half plus of football, but thankfully, thank heavens, Ipswich Town in the end didn't lose it thanks to that late penalty from Jack Clark, who kept a really good cool head and put it away to give Ipswich Town their third draw of this opening month. Even Stevens with Birmingham, Southampton, and now this afternoon with Derby County, where it's finished 2-2. Kieran McKenna's thoughts are on the way.